아주 뜻깊은 그런 날입니다. 한국 프로게임사의 새로운 장을 여는 그런 시간입니다.
여러분은 그날을 기억하십니까? 게임이 전파를 타고 처음 텔레비전에 등장한 날을요. 그날을 시작으로 19년 동안 우리 곁에서 함께하고 있는 게임 스타크래프트에 대해 이야기해보려 합니다.
옛날에 그 스타 하던 시절이 참 좋았는데.
언제 쪽이냐? 벌써 한 20년 된 것 같다.
20년 거의 됐어요.
한 7, 8년? 20년? 언제인지도 모르겠어.
술잔을 기울이며 이야기꽃을 피우고 있는 직장인들. 한때 신촌에서 스타크래프트로 이름 좀 날렸다는 아저씨들인데요. 역시나 이야기의 주제는 스타크래프트입니다.
사육사사 길드가 포도론을
근데 포도론을 창시까지는 아닌 것 같아요.
아니야, 우리가 만들었어.
우리가 만들었다고?
짝꿍이 6마리 해가지고 이제 가면 대부분 이제 처음에 그거 했을 때 다른 길드들이 막 사기라고
진짜로
몇 년이냐고 바로 그냥 나가버리고 드랍해버리고 뭐.
애들이 2분 안 돼서 나가면 하루 기록이 안 됐잖아.
맞아.
아, 맞다. 처음에 그랬어.
17년? 18년 전에 저희 이제 하숙집을 중심으로 스타크래프트를 밤새도록 매우 자주 했던 길드예요.
매우 자주도 아니고 매일이야 매일 계속.
저녁이 되면 학생들은 만화방과 당구장으로, 직장인들은 호프집과 노래방으로 발걸음이 향하던 시절이 있었죠. 그런데 1990년대 후반 이런 모습에 커다란 변화가 생깁니다. 바로 스타크래프트의 등장 때문인데요. 이 게임으로 인해 참 많은 것이 바뀌었습니다. 가장 큰 변화는 오락실이 사라지고 PC방이 점점 늘어났다는 거죠.
전 세계 어느 나라에서도 유래를 찾아보기 힘든 놀라운 성장률입니다. 스타크래프트 이전에는 사무 공간으로서의 어떤 PC방의 성격을 가지고 있었습니다만 스타크래프트가 나오면서 결국에는 게임을 하는 게임장, 즉 게임방으로서 성격이 바뀌게 되었습니다. 유통의 패러다임을 바꾸었던 대단히 중요한 게임이라고 볼 수 있습니다.
대한민국 경제에 스타크래프트가 미친 경제적 효과는 5조 원. 대한민국 게임 산업의 역사는 스타크래프트 이전과 그 이후로 나뉘게 됩니다.
전 세계 판매량의 절반 이상이 한국 시장에서 판매되는 중요한 시장이었고요. 초기 온라인 게임의 성장과 발전에 아주 지대한 공헌을 했던 게임이기도 합니다.
대한민국의 젊은 세대는 PC방에서 스타크래프트로 하나가 되었습니다. 도대체 스타크래프트의 무엇이 이들을 이토록 매료시킨 걸까요? 실시간 전략게임 최초로 등장한 3가지 종족, 테란, 프로토스, 저그가 만들어가는 전장의 대서사시. 배틀넷이란 가상의 전투 공간에서 세상의 모든 플레이어들과 만날 수 있는 이 게임에 사람들은 빠져들었습니다. 집단적으로 승리와 패배의 기쁨을 맛볼 수 있는 게임, 스타크래프트는 젊은 세대들의 문화를 바꾸기 시작합니다.
한국 사회의 특히 청년들의 놀이 문화를 완전히 바꿨다고 할 수가 있는데, 그러니까 1990년대 초까지만 하더라도 우리나라 청년들이 이제 밤에 당구장에 간다든지 낮에는 데모를 한다든지 둘 중에 하나였는데, 거의 좀 사라져갈 즈음에 절묘하게 스타크래프트가 등장한 겁니다. 그러면서 이제 대학생뿐만 아니라 직장인들까지도 우리 스타 한판 할까? 이런 식으로 해서 PC방을 간다든지, 스타크래프트가 이 젊은이들의 이 청년 문화에 뗄래야 뗄 수 없는 그런 한 장을 차지하게 됐고,
스타크래프트로 인해 게임은 세상 밖으로 나오게 됩니다. 스타크래프트를 즐기던 사람들에 의해 자생적으로 대회가 만들어졌으며 프로게이머라는 직업이 생겨났고, 이들의 게임을 중계하는 케이블 방송국까지 지어졌죠.
바둑을 대체할 수 있는 전략 게임이 무엇일까라는 고민을 했고, 이것이 어떻게 보면 현재와 미래를 대체할 수 있는 최고의 전략 게임이 아닐까, 그런 생각을 했어요. 스타크래프트가. 그러니까 실제 존재하지 않은 가장 강력한 스포츠다라는 생각이 스타크래프트를 딱 보고 하면서 딱 느꼈고요.
마치 콜로세움에서 대결을 하듯 고독하게 싸우는 2명의 전사와 이것을 보며 환호하는 사람들. 이곳에서 승리한 자는 어느 순간 일간지 신문의 한 페이지를 장식하게 됩니다.
인터넷 시대에 왔으니까 앞으로는 인터넷으로 즐기는 엔터테인먼트가 활성화될 거고, 그건 아마 게임이 될 것이다. 그러니까 우리도 게임면을 만들면은 아마 좋은 계기가 될 것 같다라고 아이디어를 올렸는데 그게 채택이 됐어요. 일간지 최초의 게임면이 만들어졌고, 주위에 스타크래프트 처음에는 그 뭐냐 뭐 이렇게 했던 반응이, 나중에는 이제 이번 스타리그 누가 우승했는데 내일 일면 주셔야 됩니다. 그럼 편집국장이 야, 일면 사이드는 스타크래프트야. 이거는 대단한 거예요.
매스컴을 타게 되면서 스타크래프트 선수들은 스타로 다시 태어나게 됩니다. 모니터 속 전장에서 선수들은 황제, 천재, 악마, 몽상가 혹은 괴물과 투신으로 변신해 폭풍 같은 전쟁의 최종 병기가 되기를 꿈꿨습니다.
And after I got to Korea and saw how much support all these pro gamers had, they had sponsors, they had fans cheering for them, they had coaches. I was honestly pretty jealous. Had been born here, I could have had a completely different life and one that would have catered to what my dreams were when I was younger.
아직 끝나지 않은 전쟁, 그 서막을 연 사람이 있죠. 바로 파란 눈의 전사 기욤 패틀입니다.
오자마자 대회를 우승해버렸어요. 그때 투니버스 대회였는데 원래 3개월만 있으려고 했는데 지금 18년째 살고 있습니다. 제 인생은 한국에 살았거든요. 그런데 스타크래프트 시절은 평생 잃어버릴 수 없어요. 이 추억들은 죽을 때까지 저랑 같이 있습니다.
세월을 거슬러 그 시절을 떠올려 보려는 듯 모니터 앞에 앉아봅니다.
기욤 패트리 선수가 2000 하나로 통신배 투니버스 스타리그의 우승자로 우뚝 섭니다. 기욤 패트리.
또 스타크래프트는 사실 하는 것도 재밌는데 보는 것도 굉장히 재밌거든요. 인기 진짜 많았을 때 결승전에 가면은 그 분위기가 정말 좋거든요.
뜨거운 열기를 다시 한번 느껴볼까요?
공식적인 공개가 나올 때까지 숫자는 언급하지 않겠습니다.
A really big moment for me because the Pro League finals were being held on the beach. Watch it, to cheer on their favorite players, to watch these guys go on stage and perform live. I'm getting chills and shivers right now even describing this because this meant so much to me because it was such an important moment to see how much the Korean people cared and loved about this game.
제 눈을 믿을 수가 없을 정도인데요. 지금 제 앞에 계신 분들 제가 보긴 5만 아니 10만이 넘는 것 같습니다. 여러분의 뜨거운 바로 함성과 함께 시작하겠습니다.
스타크래프트는 이렇게 10만 관중의 신화를 만들어냈습니다.
함성과 함께 시작하겠습니다. 자, 과연 한빛과 SK텔레콤 어느 팀이 첫 번째 경기의 승리를 거머쥐었죠? 경기를 시작합니다.
제가 있었던 그때 제가 중계했던 경기를 보면서 우는 분 보니까 눈물이 나고 그걸 중계했던 제가 자랑스럽고 분명히 저는 여기서 많은 분들이 오신 기록이 쓰일 것이라는 것을 확신을 하고 내려갔습니다. 10만은 말이 안 되는 숫자였죠.
알고 있죠. 어느 정도는 예측하고 있어요.
상대편 던진 게임 작전 이거 키거든요.
스타크래프트라는 게임을 통해 게임은 e스포츠라는 새로운 문화가 됩니다. 대한민국에서 시작된 게임 열풍과 e스포츠 문화는 전 세계로 향했습니다. PC방에서 시작된 작은 불씨가 이제는 횃불이 되어 19년이란 긴 시간이 지난 지금도 활활 타오르고 있죠.
Hello everyone and welcome to our anniversary celebration for StarCraft.
지난 3월 중대한 발표를 듣기 위해 스타크래프트 팬들이 모였습니다.
The 19th anniversary of the release of StarCraft. StarCraft was a Korean baby in 1998. One more thing that I have to share with you today.
소문만 무성했던 스타크래프트 리마스터가 드디어 그 베일을 벗었습니다.
Talking to the influencers, talking to the pro players, talking to the IGR owners, talking to the map makers, all of the people that really we need to rebuild a connection with.
4K UHD 그래픽, 와이드 스크린 지원과 고음질 오리지널 오디오, 그리고 한국어 지원까지.
StarCraft Remastered is still the game you know and love. To look more beautiful, to play with modern systems.
스타크래프트는 또 한 번의 기적을 보여줬습니다.
How to announce StarCraft Remastered, there was really only one place to announce it, and that's right here, because we have the best StarCraft players in the world. This is where esports began, and so we wanted to talk directly to all these players who've been playing for 20 years.
리마스터 버전. 야.
슬레이어즈 박서, 정말 오랜만에 보는 아이디입니다. 임요한 선수,
한 칸 더 있네.
다시 선수 시절로 돌아간 듯 긴장된 모습인데요. 처음으로 경험해보는 리마스터 경기는 어떨까요?
주문 기능이 있네. 아저씨 이렇게 안 생겼었는데? 대머리였었는데? 선명해졌어요. 선명해지고. 와, 원래대로 돌아왔는데.
돌아가고 싶죠. 저한테는 이제 스타크래프트밖에 없었죠. 그래서 그때도 당연히 스타크래프트를 택했을 거고 제일 잘하는 게 그거밖에 없으니까요. 네. 자, 저거야 잘 가라. 신세계인데.
오랜만에 마우스를 잡은 황제 임요한 선수. 새로운 옷을 입은 스타크래프트 앞에서 놀람과 감탄이 반복됩니다.
이야, 프로토스 죽이는 맛 나겠다 진짜. 개인적으로 제일 좋았던 건요, 프로토스 건물이 파괴될 때 정말 화려하게 파괴되잖아요. 제가 현역 때 프로토스한테 정말 스트레스를 많이 받아서 그런지 그 짧은 순간에도 스트레스가 정말 많이 풀리는 것 같았어요.
야 12시고 그러면 12시가 문을 가고
PC방에서 소리 지르고 달려달라고 소리 지르고 막 어디로 가자고 소리 지르고.
우리는 모여서 많이 했으니까 사실
모여서 하는
좋을 수밖에
모여서 하는 게 즐거웠던 거죠.
진짜로.
스타크래프트 이야기는 아직 멈추지 않았습니다.
저희 큰애가 이제 10살인데요. 충분히 같이 재밌게 할 수 있을 것 같아요. 여기도 똑같아요. 10살 큰애가. 그러면 가족끼리 이제 가족 대항전도 한번 하고.
어떤 누구에겐 학창 시절로 또 다른 누구에겐 치열한 경쟁으로 모두의 가슴 속 뜨거운 열정으로 기억되는 게임 스타크래프트. 이렇게 다양하게 마음 한켠에 자리 잡은 게임이 있었나요? 아직까지 스타크래프트가 끊임없이 이야기되는 이유, 그건 바로 스타크래프트가 갖고 있는 재미 때문이 아닐까 싶은데요. Good Game, GG라는 단어를 세상에 처음 선보인 게임 스타크래프트. 스타크래프트 이야기는 아직 지지 않고 지금도 계속되고 있습니다. 저도 오늘 친구에게 전화 한 통 하고 싶네요. 우리 스타 한 판 할까?
그러니까 누구에게나 20대는 있잖아요. 근데 화려하고 꽃 같은 20대가 있는데 스타크래프트의 이 꽃 같은 20대의 청춘을 다 바쳤던 것 같아요. 그래서 스타크래프트는 임요한의 청춘이다.
제가 지금 가지고 있는 것들의 90%를 만들어준, 제가 타고 온 차도 스타크래프트 중계라는 샀고, 제가 차고 있는 시계도 스타크래프트를 하면서 샀고,
우리 아들 막내가 초등학생인데 아직 부모님 직업란에 프로게이머라고 써 있더라고요.
제 인생의 제일 큰 추억이거든요. 18년 동안 뭘 했는지 생각하면 스타크래프트 시절 먼저 생각나거든요.
둘이 너무나도 좋은 어떤 짝꿍 파트너가 아니었나 그런 생각이 듭니다.
게임을 만드는 모든 사람들은 엄청 부러울 겁니다. 도대체 스타가 뭔 힘으로 모른다니까요.
Yeah. I think we might have to remaster it again.
Hello, this is Caster John. Here, it's Gwangalli Busan Beach right here. And today, we are going to play StarCraft.
Alright, I'm gonna have to turn this way down. Because G-Clef is being so loud. Wolf is gonna be super loud as well. Sorry about this, guys. I hope you can hear my voice okay. I'm gonna switch in my cam. Look at that audience. Isn't that insane? Do you see how many people are in that audience? Like, that's gotta be like close to 1,000 people. Like it, or at least like 500 plus. I don't know. I'm not very good at estimating people, but that it's insane. There's so many people there. It's so cool to see that many people getting excited for this event. Definitely says that we have a pretty bright future for this game. I'm glad we finally got through all those subs. I'm Esports John, by the way. Welcome to my new set. I just finished moving. Everything's a little bit disheveled right now because I'm still trying to get everything together, but hope you guys stick with me and enjoy the games today. We got lots of really cool stuff coming up. If you guys can just give me feedback on the sound levels, if G-Clef is like yelling a little bit too loudly, or if the audio is just like way too quiet for what's going on, just let me know. If there is a Korean stream of this, that would actually be better. If you guys can find a Korean stream for me and link it in chat, I'd be eternally grateful. Just because talking over Korean is a lot easier than talking over English. Although it does mean that I guess we're not gonna get any English stuff anyway, based on what we got from the previews. Everything's just gonna be in Korean, so. Let me go ahead and see if there is a Korean one. I guess OGN might have one. Twitch.tv/OGN. He does shout off the stage. Nope, OGN's playing some other game. Dude, he is crazy right now. Alright. That was pretty epic. I guess G-Clef was actually translating there, which was pretty nice. We probably could have used that, but oh well. He was just really loud in comparison to everything, so I was worried that that was going to be a problem. I'll go ahead and turn the desktop audio up back to pretty standard, and then we'll just adjust it in Twitch for right now.
StarCraft GG together. Let's start from now on. And let's bring up. First, we are in the gaming city, Busan. We'll bring Mr. Seo Byung-soo, the mayor of Busan, on the stage.
All right, Mayor Busan coming out. It's so great having this out on the beach again. It reminds me so much of that the Pro League Finals on the beach with Firebat Hero doing that ceremony where he ran into the ocean. That was amazing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. The Mecca of esports. Welcome everyone.
Oh, now they've got subs.
To Busan.
Thank God. Thank God we got subs now.
Thank you everyone for visiting Busan Gwangalli Beach.
I'm sorry if my face is in the way of some of the subs. That's really gonna bother anybody. Please let me know and I'll just remove my face for the time being.
Thank Blizzard and their crew for having the StarCraft Remastered launching event in Busan.
So excited. I just want to get to the matches, honestly. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
You watched the video, right?
Like, the matches, honestly, like, if I'm gonna be totally honest, like, the matches won't be that good. But they're gonna be hype anyway, so you're gonna have, like, 1,000 people cheering for Grrrrrr. Like, literally, I don't think that's ever happened. Like, even when Grrrrr was famous and, like, StarCraft 2 was, like, StarCraft was just getting started in Korea, like, there were not this many fans in the audience. This is insane.
As we're about to witness the revival of StarCraft with all the energy from the fans, I wish this is the beginning of a new history and a new legend.
Hey, Henrik
City
and
will
Johansson. Yeah, I talked a little bit about
continue on to develop
the lag in chat. Usually that has to do with the bit rate,
StarCraft fighting.
and it could be possible that the bit rate on the mainstream is a little bit higher than mine. I generally set mine a little bit lower, high enough to be HD, but a little bit lower so that people don't have trouble with the buffering
We'll have
issues.
another special person on the stage who came all the way to Korea, the vice president of Blizzard Entertainment, the leader of Classic Games Team, Rob Bryden Becker on the stage.
All right, so we got vice president of Blizzard Games. Hello. What's up? What's up, dude? He's like, I don't belong here. Where's my subtitles? Wouldn't life just be wonderful if you could just like walk around and just have subtitles under anything, like if anybody said something in a foreign language or something like that?
Hello, Korea fans and fans across the globe. Welcome to GG Together.
네, 감사합니다.
전 세계 팬 여러분, 국내 팬 여러분, GG 투게더에 오신 거 환영합니다.
네, 앞서 소개해드린 대로 현재 블리자드 부사장이시고 클래식 게임팀의 개발 총괄 담당하고 계신데.
This has got to be so hard. They're on a gigantic stage,
As I mentioned before, how
and
long have you been working in Blizzard?
like the translator's having to talk over the guy talking.
95년부터 일했으니까 벌써 22년 됐습니다.
와, 그러면
Who is that guy? I believe this is the vice president of Blizzard Games in Korea or something like that. I don't remember the exact title, but this guy's important. Not as important as Mike Morhaime, but kind of important. I don't really know all the Blizzard employees that well. I should know who the Blizzard execs are, but
Is that the reason
still
why
learning.
you became the vice president right now?
네, 답 안 하셔도 되겠습니다. 예.
You don't have to answer. It's okay.
네, 특히 블리자드 같은 경우 이제 팬들과 함께 소통하려고 애를 쓰는데 한국은 어떻게 자주 오시나 몇 번째쯤?
How often do you come to Korea actually? How many times have you been here?
Probably about 75 times.
한국에 75번으로 온 것 같습니다.
우와, 75번이면 와.
Yeah, with all the various esports events and just all the activity with the PC bongs, it's such a vibrant market.
Oh my God, he said the
Every
word right.
time I'm here, I always learn something, and I'm happy to be here tonight.
많은 e스포츠 경기도 왔었고 PC방에서
Just so you guys know, it's PC Bong. Actually, it really should be pronounced PC Bong, because if you're gonna pronounce it in Korean, you might as well just go all the way. Don't do it halfway. Don't go PC and then use like the Korean word for room Bong. Just go PC Bong. Just do both at the same time.
Which is hello. 여기요 맥주 주세요, which means I need a beer here. I need a soju here.
What?
우리 한국의 팬들, 글로벌 팬들께도 이제
What?
To everybody here tonight and all of those watching across the globe,
Oh my
I want to
gosh.
thank you for all of your years of support for StarCraft. And additionally,
Yeah, it's gonna be hard trying to identify people in the audience.
team StarCraft Remastered that we flew here for tonight at this event. Team, stand up.
Stand up, team. Sometimes it's hard to like identify people in the audience. Like right now, there's a bunch of people. I recognize 0 of them currently. I think I might know the big guy, the big bald
They're all
guy.
here.
I don't remember his name.
Who's going to run the service if they're all
We've
here?
got a team that's backstage, that's in Irvine, that's all looking out for the servers, and I got to tell you, it is going awesome. So
Did you guys know that backstage is Irvine, California? Busan and Irvine are actually right next to each other. Surprisingly, not a lot of people know that, but it's the truth. Either that or they have like a portal.
That means you can go to any of the PC bongs in Korea, and you can play StarCraft Remastered before anybody else in the world for the next 2 weeks.
Nice. Nice. So I think basically every Korean that I know is gonna disappear for 2 weeks. I'm not gonna see them for a while.
Good time, everybody. Enjoy the event.
That would explain. Sorry, I'm gonna wait for the translation.
For all all of this congratulations and celebration
동료와 함께
on the
말씀드린
stage.
들으신 바와 같이 전 세계 최초로 PC방을 통해
Of course, as you just mentioned,
즐기실 수 있습니다.
this will be the very first one, and after the event, all the people in Korea will get to enjoy for the first 2 weeks. And StarCraft Remastered GG together, this will be the very first StarCraft Remastered match. And let me introduce the legend who will write the first page of StarCraft Remastered history. The first legend! Let's meet him right now.
All right, getting to know, starting to get into the matches. First generation, the very first one. Oh god, so old. Boy. The boy is like billions of years old. He was a pro gamer before pro gaming actually existed. Insane.
First generation pro gamer.
There he is.
He's older now. Got some
Walking
stomach
kind of
out
funny.
now. But still, he's the living Hydra.
I guess it's because they're all walking in sand. It's not like you can run down the aisle in sand anyway. Makes sense. So one of the downfalls of having an event on the beach is difficult to actually like walk anywhere.
And now he's on the stage. Cookie Ball.
Looks like he's about to beat someone up.
Let's meet the second legend.
Like I feel like you could probably just drop a ring like right in front of the stage, like
The second legend.
like a boxing ring just like comes out of the sand and then like he just walks in there and beats up Grrrrrr. Be sick. Did I just say he was the first Royal Roader? I don't know if like Royal Roading counts if it's like the first event ever to exist. Like, it's like everyone is a Royal Roader in the very first event, right? Grrrrrr. There he is.
Starting from the Universe Star League from year 2000. He was the first Royal Roader.
The first OSL champion, the only foreigner OSL champion ever.
The boy at the finals.
I was gonna say he's the first foreigner to ever win like any Korean championship, but that's not quite true. I know Neve did it earlier this year in StarCraft 2, but I'm trying to think, did any foreigner ever actually take a tournament off of Korean? You guys in chat now, let me know. Oh, we're just inviting everyone up on stage. Cool. What a god. Oh my god. By far the most legendary StarCraft player of all time. Boxer. Oh my god, this guy is the king.
The king, the emperor of Terran, Slayer's Boxer.
This guy... Oh, no. Don't lag stream. Yeah, the worst part, or the most amazing thing about Boxer is not even just the fact that he was a great player. It's that he was a great player and that he was so involved with the development of esports. He made 3 teams throughout the course of his career, including Air Force Ace, which was the very first Army-based team, esports team. And just absolutely incredible. Just not even just as a player, but as a person. Boxer's been around for so long. There's so much to talk about it, and it's one of those things where if you start digging down the well, you'll never find the end. He's been in esports that long. Such a pivotal part of StarCraft.
And of course, with Boxer on stage.
Boxer never looks like he gets older though.
Wait
Just like gets taller, it looks like.
the opponent.
Yellow, the Kong, the king of Kongs. I believe 10 top 8 finishes throughout his career. Not a single gold in an OSL. So, but still, by far one of the most legendary players to ever play this game. Yellow, maybe the most consistent player of all time. Absolutely insane. You can see people going crazy. They want to see him so much. What a cool guy. Crimson, you say John, not the first, but the only. I don't know what you mean by the first or the only. You're gonna have to give me a little bit more context because you have to remember you're commenting like about 2 minutes behind where I'm talking.
So many high fives and greetings from the fans.
Boxer's greatest rival. Oh, he went for the high five and then left him hanging. That was sick. What's up with these polo shirts though? Is this like a last minute thing where they're like, just wear jeans, we'll get some polo shirts for you with like the StarCraft logo on it? This'll work, trust me guys. Okay, I think that was by far the coolest intro. Reach is such a man, holy crap. The Mantos himself coming out. Reach, definitely one of the very first pro gamers to actually practice macroing very heavily and just running his opponent over with lots and lots of units. Obviously, it was a little bit easier to macro as Protoss than any other race at the time. But still, we gotta remember, Reach is one of the most important people in shaping how the Protoss race develops. So, definitely very, very important. To some degree, I'd say he's kind of like... No, I wouldn't actually say that. He's close to the third leg between Boxer and Yellow, but there's also Garam too as well. And Toe? I actually don't know how it's pronounced. Alright, we've got Nada, another Terran player, probably the most successful pro gamer of all time besides Flash. I think up until recent years, Nada definitely had the title for the greatest of all time. Just super consistent for so long. Nicknamed the Genius Terran for being so brilliant at the game, having insane micro, insane macro, and just brilliant strategy at a time when people were still trying to figure out the game, still. And just Nada Probably, like I said, aside from Flash, probably the greatest pro gamer of all time.
Revival once more as we have remastered.
아직까지 다 드러낸 건 아닙니다만 다시 몸을 만들고 있습니다. 자, 리마스와 함께 천재로서의 면모를 살릴 수 있기를.
I just want to see Reach walk out like 3 more times, honestly. Because like the Reach walkout was so sick, man. I think TheBOy could probably beat up anyone on the stage, easy. And for TBLS, well, TLS, Stork.
김태경 선수 초반부터 판을 잘 짰습니다. 김태경의 저그저항은 달라도 뭐가 다른데 김태경은 완벽해요 현재까지는요.
Bisu, the revolutionist, probably the largest fangirl following of all time. Bisu overnight changed the win rate from PvZ from something like 40% to like 60-70% with his Corsair DT play. By far one of the most influential players in determining how some of the mid and late game. Okay, sorry, I'm just listening to the translation. Definitely one of the people who developed Protoss the most in the mid to late era of StarCraft during the Casper era. So very important, influential figure. And of course, look at that hair, man. Look at that hair. What a beautiful, beautiful nerd. Apparently he's also PC retarded. Fun fact. Jaedong, this is my boy. Jaedong's my favorite player of all time. Sorry, guys. Jaedong, Jaedong, who won his first OSL literally on the back of just microing mutas. I think he went like 2 base muta in like 2-hatch muta in like every single game and just outright killed people with muta micro. So love this guy so much. Very super aggressive Zerg player. Insane mechanics, probably. In my opinion, I think he actually has the most insane mechanics out of any player ever. That's me. That might just be me fanboying super hard. Raise your dongers, man. Jaedong. You notice how like when TheBOy walked out, everybody was like kind of sitting in their seat. They're like, oh, he's that guy. But by the time we get to TBLS, like everybody's out of their seats, like trying to like touch him. They're just like trying to touch his chest or something, you know. Teach me how to play Zerg. I just want to touch your chest.
Of course he has to be here.
And finally, our last contestant. Sick. Flash, probably the most successful pro gamer of all time. Played at the absolute highest level of Brood War for years, dominated with absolute perfection in his play. Moved into StarCraft 2, displayed the same sort of perfection. Although he didn't have quite as much success, still very successful in StarCraft 2. Comes back to Brew War, wins 2 back-to-back ASLs. This man is a god. Oh my gosh. Everything about Flash is just so smart. Oh, somebody just tried to shove an iPhone in his face or something. Flash still going strong, even all these years later. It's insane. Definitely one of the players that years from now we'll still remember as the greatest of all time. No one will ever overtake Flash at this point.
Give another round of applause to all the legends on the stage, please.
Applause is in the chat, please. Let me see some hands in the chat. Pretty sure there's a chat emoji. Show me hands anyway. If you don't show me hands, just show me lots of faces. I don't care what they are.
Of course, as you see on the screen, the legends. It's nearly impossible to have all of
Tonic, still StarCraft. Yeah, that's. Indeed, we're watching some StarCraft. This is the launch event for StarCraft Remastered. Oh god, we're gonna have long interviews with all these players too.
Say hi to your fans,
너무
please.
뜻깊은 자리에 올라오게 돼서 너무 반갑고요. 너무
Means a lot.
좋습니다.
The stage means a lot, and I'm glad to be here.
여기 있는 분들이 대부분 이제 스타로 시작해서 스타로 뭐 인생이 바뀌었고 스타로 인생돼서
Of course, through
올라오고
StarCraft,
있습니다. 본인은 거의 입사할 때
life changed.
몰랐어요.
But I didn't know you will actually go into Blizzard. It's
진짜
not
그리고 지금까지도
the easiest
뭐
path,
팀장을
you know.
높은 일도 하고
You're
계신데
still
어떠십니까?
in there as a team leader. How's the work?
Wait, did he say something about an embolism?
Of course, now I'm in a company, and it's not easy.
Maybe
I'm crazy. He didn't say embolism, did he?
거의 한 20년 가까이 만에 만났는데 예.
And of course, I've known you from last 20 years, and Guillaume now, he's a celebrity in Korea, as you can see. Are you jealous at all?
People just like Guillaume because he's white. They're like, wow, that guy's white. He's good at StarCraft? No way. That guy's white.
With the remaster version, as the first match,
앞으로 20년 동안 편하게
take the
살겠습니다.
revenge, and for the rest, for the next 20 years, I'll be satisfied with today's match, and I'll be in peace.
국기봉이 추천하는 자, 저거 뭐 빌드 하나만 딱 이거 예, 뭐 하나만 더 추천해 주신다면
구드론이죠, 구드론.
구드론이죠.
Nine drone is the build that I'm going to recommend to all guys.
Nine drone.
Nine drones, I'm not sure, but of course, moving on, let's meet Guillaume.
I think by nine drone he means nine pool.
Hello, I'm Guillaume.
Either way, early pools, you know he's a dirty Zerg.
네, 선수라는 말도 굉장히 좋아요.
예. 지금 방송으로도 정말 저도 애청하고 있는데
it's very nice.
진짜 2000년대 아까도 그뭐 다큐에 나왔으면 인기가 엄청났잖아요.
I don't know. On closer look, Grrrrrr looks pretty muscular. I don't know. Maybe he can actually beat the boy in like a hand-to-hand combat.
It's so high in this country. But after watching the video, I know I'm a lot older now compared to before, but still. How's your StarCraft skills? It's been 14 years since my retirement from StarCraft. Like all my opponents are like a father, they're like working in a company.
겸손하면 안 되니까 오늘 꼭 이길게요.
Being honest, I will win.
A lot of people told me they were wondering if Grrrrr still doesn't use hotkeys, because he was very well known for not even using hotkeys.
If you work in a company,
your father work in a company? Neither.
Of course.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough for Grrrr. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch this. I'm looking forward to it.
Make sure I defeat Guillaume tonight.
The boy getting fierce there. That's gonna be a fun match. No matter what happens, that's the boy versus Grrrr is gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Let's meet Boxer. Hello everyone.
Boxer.
I'm Yuhan-님, Slayer's Boxer.
Bow down to the king.
제가 먼저 얘기를 하자면 저도 애 아빠고
talk first. I'm
직장인이니까
also
오늘 꼭 이겨보도록 하겠습니다.
a full-timer and also a father, so I will make sure I bring the victory to myself.
Apparently, the gray side key to victory is being a father and working. So everyone else who doesn't work, bad people. They're never gonna win. It's upside down. There you go. I guess that was Boxer's family.
제가 여기
Cute kid.
올라선 지 8년 만이에요. 제가 8년 전에 그 프로리그 우승하고 깃발을 여기다 꽂았던 기억이 있는데 그리고 이제 딱 다시 8년 만에 올라섰는데요. 그것도 이제 공개로 이제 홍진호를 처형할 수 있으니까 너무 기분이 좋고 또 한 가지 진호한테 안 된 건 정말 싫어하는 정말 싫어하는 건물인 벙커를
Good thing Boxer hasn't forgotten his trash talk game.
Yellow will be having a tough time looking at all the bunkers in HD.
He's gonna bunker rush him. For those of you guys who aren't aware, probably the most famous match between Boxer and Yellow is the finals of. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a finals of an OSL, I believe, where he just 3-0'd Yellow by bunker rushing him 3 times in a row. I think it was Coca-Cola OSL. Yeah, I think it was Coca-Cola OSL. Wait, no, I read that wrong. Ignore me. It was another point where he 3-0'd Yellow with just 3 bunker rushes straight in a row, and it was probably a lot of people hated that, but it was still one of the most amazing things ever.
8년 전 그 장소에 있었거든요.
8 years ago, I was also there when he was putting the flag.
꽂았던 걸로 기억하는데.
And I think
it was the semis. Thank you, Crimson.
8년이나 시간이 흘렀고 똑같은 장소에 있습니다.
It's been 8 years. We're at the same place.
누굽니까, 얘들아?
2004. Maybe the yeah, it was the Ever 2004 OSL.
북부 서방서신가요? 북부 서방서?
The runner-up side. Yellow famous for never actually getting a gold.
시간은 흘렀지만 오늘만큼은 그때와는 다른
Still a great player.
It is going to be different.
보여주려고 이 자리에 나왔습니다.
And I'm here to show you guys something different tonight.
오늘 이면이 벙커링 할 것 같아요, 안 할 것 같아요?
Do you think he's gonna go for the bunker rings?
Do you think he's gonna go for the bunker rush?
사실 임현 선수는 워낙 선수 때부터 어떤 전략을 쓸지 좀 예측이 불가능한 선수거든요. 그래서 오늘 쓸지 않을지 모르겠지만 써도 안 되고 안 써도 안 되고 오늘은 모든 경우의 수를 다 맞고 왔기 때문에
I am prepared for every single strategy that he has planned.
사실
I'm prepared for every single strategy. That's a lie.
은퇴하고 나서
Honestly, after his retirement,
상당히 오래전부터 임현 선수의 손은 이미 고장 나 있었어요.
And his hands
그 고장 난 손 오늘 확실히 제가
It's been a while.
쐐기를 받겠습니다.
And today will be the day
that was slightly less good trash talk there, but we'll still give it to Yellow anyway. By the way, fun fact: do you see how short Yellow is? His in-game Kong means bean in Korean, meaning that he's very short, like a bean. So fun fact there. Time for Reach.
Hello, I'm Jungsuk Park. Reach.
I just wanted to say, like, I'll just beat up my opponent with my bare hands. Reach style.
When I see your video of wearing your headset, gives me chills.
Oh, I actually don't know that reference. If anybody in chat knows, please let me know. Something about Reach wearing his headphones.
How's the viewership and everything? It's been about a month since I started streaming. I can show all the natural parts to myself. When I'm streaming, I'm communicating a lot with the viewers.
Good Reach.
I think it's going all right.
Reach coming back into the streaming game like a lot of Kespa players that came back after the death of StarCraft 2 or StarCraft rather.
유일하게 이제 저희 뭐 4대 천왕으로 이렇게 불렸잖아요.
We were the top 4 among Nada with Boxer with Yellow.
조금씩 앞서요.
And against them, I'm a little ahead, I believe.
유독
but
엄청 졌어요.
still, against Nada, I lost a lot. So I practiced super hard for today.
은퇴를 했기 때문에
because I retired.
윤열이와의
경쟁에서는 지지 않을 것 같아요.
I don't think I'll be.
더욱더 이제
그렇죠.
새로운 예.
리마스터는
I don't
더더욱
think he's
다르죠.
going to be the favorite
예.
of the match,
근데 진짜
especially
like,
in
박정성한테
StarCraft
밀렸습니까?
Remastered.
적은데?
Oh, StarCraft Remastered like it's a new game. By the way, guys, Reach actually has been practicing really, really hard. Reach is actually in pretty good shape,
Alright, I had a pretty good
all
win rate
things
against you,
considered.
as I remember.
팬들께 또 인사 말씀하셔야겠죠.
Of course, Nada,
Nada bringing the heat immediately.
father of Jihu, Junior Lee,
아빠 3명이에요?
Nada.
I guess that's his wife or something,
We already
or
have
as a
three
random
fathers
person in
on
the
the
audience.
stage.
We don't know.
기봉이 형 화이팅.
제가 사실 이
The boy.
스타크래프트는 뭐 이윤열 뭐 진짜 인생에서 우리 다 마찬가지면 진짜 이거 스타 없으면 우리 인생이 지금
Of
이렇게
course,
안
our
됐잖아요.
lives, we won't be here without
스타
StarCraft.
얘기를 조금 해주신다면 본인의 인생과
인생이요?
예.
스타요?
예.
어허.
Talk us through your
예, 예.
StarCraft life a little
그냥
bit.
뭐 제가 34살인데
I'm 34,
19년을 스타를 했으니까
and I played StarCraft for 19
스타로
years.
인생을 더 살았네요.
예.
네. My life.
So StarCraft is my life.
What a cool guy, man. Nada's just a cool guy.
예, 맞습니다.
Even your
결혼식도
wedding.
예, 공허의 유산 그 행사와 함께 해서 굉장히 영광이었어요.
네.
I was at the
그리고 뭐
legacy
사실
of the void.
현역 때야 자 토네이도 때는 현재 때는
was my wedding.
선수가 옛날에는 안 됐는데
My life.
리마스터는 이제 뭐 BJ 대 BJ로서 아니면 뭐 전직 스타
Never forget Nada, guys.
절대 밀리지 않다고 했는데 저
Even though Flash has like technically eclipsed him, don't forget Nada.
연습은 정석이
Reach
형이
said
더
you're a
많이
little bit
했어요.
better. I know
네.
that
원래 옛날에도
we
많이
practiced
했죠.
a little
성적은 안 나왔죠.
more.
제가 요즘에
Even long time
다른
ago.
거 준비하는 것 때문에 연습 많이
That's
못했었어요.
because I couldn't practice too much
그러나
because
이미지
I
트레이닝을 되게 많이 했거든요.
had to
제 닉네임이
work on
뭡니까?
something else at the same
Somebody in
time.
the Team Liquid live report thread says,
Says,
"Bring back the
I am
costumes."
the genius, Terran. I will show you tonight
자
on
그리고
the
이제
stage.
마지막으로
All right,
현역에서 활동하고 있는
making
세
some
분과
promises
말씀
is
나눠보도록
Nada, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's gonna be fun.
네, 팬들께
The
인사.
pro gamers.
안녕하세요. 저그 이재동입니다.
Hello everyone, I'm
Flash has
Sir
100% past Nada at this point. I'm sorry. Flash is the greatest programmer of all time. 100% Crimson.
How do you think it's How do you think
Time
Zerg is
to,
coming with the remastered? How does it feel to play?
See J-Dong.
굉장히 요즘 2017년도에 맞는
Hey, Scaramaga. No, this kind of just started. We've been doing a lot of intros and a lot of other stuff, but none of the
brand new suit.
none of the games have started yet. We're getting to that still.
Everyone
재밌게 플레이할 수 있을 것 같아요.
enjoys playing game together along with me.
아직 얼마 전까지는 좀 예전만큼 좀 플레이.
J-Dong is such a quiet person on stage.
팬들께 이제 리마스터 하면서 화이팅 한번 끝으로 말씀 부탁드립니다.
But if you go to a stream, like he's so cheeky,
앞으로 리마스터
very
많이
cheeky
사랑해
player.
주시고,
Keep loving
저그,
remastered.
저도 이재동도 많이
Of
사랑해
course,
주세요.
Zerg.
감사합니다.
Please keep loving me, Jedong.
Jedongu!
자 그리고 김태경.
Jedongu!
네.
And
I'm
Bisu.
looking forward to it so much.
네, 안녕하세요.
And Bisu.
Hello, I'm Taekyung Kim.
Bisu looks like he just doesn't want to be there at all.
오늘이 세 명의 대결 리마스터인데 어떻게 될 것 같습니까?
I think he'd rather be sleeping, but he's like, oh, they're giving me lots of money, so I guess that's cool.
Three players.
He doesn't want to look bad when he loses to J-Dong and Flash.
One player. Which one?
제가
There are two.
게이머 때 많이 졌던 상대한테 좀 이기고
The one that I
싶어가지고
lost a lot before.
지금도 제일 잘하고
Still one
그
of
상대 한번
the
이겨보고
best.
싶습니다.
I do want to beat him.
그럼 이재동은 뭐가 됩니까?
Alright, I guess he's talking about Flash there.
그치 홍진호가 그랬어. 은근히 제동이 무시하는 게 아니라 대놓고
Bisu's
무시하네.
saying, I definitely want to beat Flash.
I know you're referring to Flash there.
저도 만나 래프지 이재동 많이 이겼으니까 그겁니까?
제동이는 오늘 즐기러 온 것
Well,
같아가지고.
Jedong, I think he wants to enjoy tonight.
제동아, 이거 갑자기 너 어떻게 된 거냐 이거?
No, he's just gonna try to beat
Shots
J-Dong
fired,
and
Jedong.
not try super hard.
I will make sure I get my 2 victories
자,
tonight.
그럼 이제 마지막으로 최종 병기.
J-Dong says, I'll make sure I get my 2-0 easy.
And
안녕하세요.
the ultimate, the
이영호입니다.
final weapon. Hello, I'm Young-Oh Lee Flash.
Get ready for some shade. Like, Flash is really, really good at trash talk, in my opinion.
지금 나이가 20.
Pretty solid.
네, 26살입니다.
And now you're 26.
절반 좀
Started when you were 15.
브루도 때도 그랬습니다만
Dang,
지금도
11 years pro gaming.
누구?
No breaks or anything,
World's
really.
best.
Just straight up 11 years pro gaming.
네,
It's insane.
어쩌다 보니까 열심히 하다 보니까
I tried hard and
네.
And I'm really thankful that a lot of people call me
이제
with that title.
레전드 매치하면서 이제 리마스터를 하게 되는데
네.
이제 계속해서 이재동 선수는 최종병기 세계 최고가 되어야 되지 않겠습니까? 리마스터를
You can tell some of the players who were interviewed first are getting really bored now.
굉장히 기대했던 작품이고.
What does Flash think of remaster?
very excited.
이런 자리에 올라선 것도 너무 영광이고요.
And just being on the stage is of course an honor for me.
떨리는데
It brings a lot of memories and it's kind of nervous at the same time.
현존하는 최고의 스타 경기력을 오늘 보여주러 왔기
But
때문에
I am here
경기력을
to
보여드릴 수
bring you
있도록
the
하겠습니다.
best StarCraft macro micro on the stage.
네. 김태형 선수 분발하셔야겠습니다. 하지만 우리는 김태경을 믿습니다. 자,
That was actually like really tame from Flash. I'm really surprised. Yeah, he didn't even try to throw any shade at all. That was pure
We have lots of matches happening right after.
펼쳐주실
humbleness.
9분의 레전드에게 내 전도들에게 여러분 다시 한번 큰
Give a big
감사의
round of applause
박수를
to all
부탁드립니다.
the 9 legends who are about to go
Yes,
into the match.
dude, I want these matches to start finally. Thank God we're finally getting that. I think we're gonna go to a short break, and when we come back, we'll do the first match, which is gonna be TheBOy versus Grrrrrr. So stay tuned, guys. Hopefully, we'll get into that. If not, I'll just keep talking before the commercial comes in, and we'll look at this insane audience. All right, see you guys in just a bit. All right, we're back. Looks like we're going to be going into that first game.
Official.
Faceless.
Esports has been saved. What a very special night we have here.
So Tasteless is super happy. I'm so glad to see Tasteless coming back into StarCraft. By the way, it's been so long since Tasteless has really done a full Brood War cast. Like I know he did ASL 1, but before that it was just like he was casting StarCraft 2 for so long. You could see the passion falling away. But as soon as he started casting Brood War again, you could feel the passion. He loves this game so much, and I'm really excited to see Tasteless back into things. Wolf also well known for casting a whole bunch of other things. Served in Heroes of the Storm for quite a long time. Looks like now he's making his way back to Brood War. So I can't think of two better casters really to cover this at this particular moment in time. I guess Artosis, we can always have the casting Archon, but I think Artosis is actually, I think he's in Europe right now. I think he's casting an IEM or something. I don't keep up with StarCraft too much, but I know I saw him on stream earlier. He's like halfway across the world, trust me, guys. Cast of the Bearded Men. Indeed. Lots and lots of beards here.
So it's following the eras of this game that essentially became
this is just like, this is such an awesome event, honestly, that we're finally coming back into StarCraft. There was a period I like to kind of talk about as like the dark ages of Brood War, where Brood War first came out in, I believe, 97, and then, or that was when the original StarCraft came out, and then Brood War came out in 98. I believe those are correct dates. And by 2000, we actually had a pro league in Korea, and that was the first OSL. And from 2000 to 2012 was a huge glory era of StarCraft Brood War, as it rose from this kind of like, quizzical, like, oh hey, those guys play video games, dress up in funny costumes, to one of the largest phenomenons in the entire world, something that we've never seen before, which was people playing video games competitively in front of audiences of hundreds and hundreds of people. So, oh, by the way, it looks like we have some interesting new maps thrown in here as well. We're gonna have Deep Purple, Neo Jungle. Actually, maybe these are just like really old maps, and I have no idea what the hell they are. Is Deep Purple a map, guys? Okay, so yeah, these are like really old maps. That's gonna be really fun. So playing on some really old maps. But it's great that Brood War has come back. It kind of went through a phase with the rise of StarCraft 2, where Kespa made the switch over, and more or less, Brood War died for a little while. I know a lot of people get offended when I say it died, because there was a lot still going on. There were still lots of people streaming. There were events going on, such as the Sonic Star Leagues and things like that. But for the most part, like it didn't have the live events. It didn't have the capital and the hype around it like it used to have. All of that got transferred into the newer esports, into StarCraft 2 and the League of Legends and Dota and CSGO and things like that. But now we're coming back to this, and having ASL earlier this year was the greatest thing in the world, and last year as well. The ASL was the first huge jump back into that Brood War, and with Remastered, we're guaranteed to see more and more of these events popping up, more and more awesome stuff. But we're going to go into the first match. It's just going to be TheBOy versus Grrrrrr, and TheBOy, you know, honestly, it's TheBOy is like so old that it's really hard to talk about his playstyle or anything. This was back in the wild west of StarCraft, before macro was even a thing, before basic build orders were even discovered. So just lots of crazy stuff. Grrrrrr, by far the most successful foreigner in StarCraft Brood War. Not that he necessarily played at a high level. He played at a very high level compared to the times, but there was at a time where everybody was still just trying to figure out the game, and he's just become a celebrity since then. Very well known also for race picking a lot. He primarily played Protoss, but I believe he picked against Terran. He picked Zerg. Or maybe it was the other way around. Or I guess in PvE, he would play Terran against Protoss, because that's the better... No, he plays Zerg against Protoss. There we go. I got it. Since that's the better matchup. But we're going to start off on a really old map, Deep Purple. This is basically actually Hunters. This looks a lot like Big Game Hunters. I'm not sure if that's actually what it was, but it's a very interesting map with a lot of open architecture. It's a 6-player map, so your opponent can spawn anywhere. Lots of cool and interesting stuff that you can do, but I think, as is standard from the pre-2001 games, we're probably just going to see a lot of basic units, a lot of rushes, units just kind of going everywhere, and some cute micro tricks. It's going to be fun stuff. Icecam says the NAT is so far from the main. I don't think it even matters, because I don't know if anybody's going to take an expansion in this game. If anybody takes an expansion in this game, it's because they couldn't mass enough units to kill out their opponent off earlier. Or they both may try to play like a weird macro game to make it like an exciting match. Who knows? We'll see. I wonder if they've been watching a lot of Brood War coming up to this event and getting ideas for builds, etc. But either way, super fun. Stay tuned. We're going to come back for the match in just a moment. TheBOy versus Grrrrrr.
Wolf, get in the DeLorean. We're going back to 1998.
All right, get the DeLorean. All right, here we are, jumping into the first game, and wow, this game already looks so beautiful. Although I don't know if I'm a big fan of having the health bar in the bottom. I feel like the health bar was... Maybe the health bar was... Wait, we didn't have health bars. That's why it looks weird. What doesn't have health bars? What the hell is that? Oh gosh. For the casual observer, it's definitely a little bit better. But on the top left, we've got Grrrrrr playing the Protoss. On the bottom left, in the orange, that's going to be TheBOy. So, nice little thing about this particular about StarCraft Remastered is it also has these little windows where you can see where each player is looking at any point in time. So we're going to be able to see, watch the players' views change around if we look at the mini-map. Lots of really cool stuff to watch, but is this going to be the 9 pool? Looks like it. Looks like we're going to see the 9 pool coming out from TheBOy, just like he promised. And meanwhile, oh, that's very confusing. I keep looking at the APM meter thinking that's minerals because, like, you know, it's like super low and it's slowly going up. But really good scouting coming out from the our Protoss player, Grrrrrr. He's actually going to scout his opponent on the first try. And to some degree, this is going to make it a lot harder on TheBOy to really get an idea of what's going on. This beautiful probe micro here to just block this probe be really annoying. And he's just going to prevent his opponent from taking a very early expansion. We'll have to see if he goes for the full pylon block or if he just blocks with the probe for now. Meanwhile, back at his base, he's got his first gateway up. We'll see if he goes for the double gateway pressure or if he's going to go more of a macro style with a gas. They're definitely known for playing very aggressively back in the day and doing these old sort of strats, and I think I see 2 gateways coming out. Maybe even a third? No, it's just going to be a pylon. So 2 gateways. We're going to see 2 amazing zealots coming out pretty soon. Once he gets the 3 zealots, he's probably going to push out across the map, and he's done a really great job of denying the hatch. For whatever reason, TheBOy wasn't able to chase away that drone, and instead, TheBOy decides to take an in-base macro hatch. Man, this is old-time strategies, man. This is so old, you guys. I don't think I've seen anything like this in years, but I'd love to see it. So first zealot is going to be coming across the map, and it's amazing how clearly you can see all of the small details. Like, for instance, the zealot, you can see the hair braids in the back very, very clearly compared to the original graphics, and still blocking this expansion. That's insane how long he's been able to block that expansion. TheBOy looks like he's actually going to be going into 3 hatch. He needs to make some units, though, out of these first 2 hatcheries. If he's not making any Zerglings, he's definitely going to fall to some of this pressure with these first couple zealots. The first zealot and probe get into the main. He's going to go straight for the probes, or straight for the drones, rather, and try to pick off as many as possible. And I hope those are some Zerglings. If all of those are drones, he might be in a world of trouble, but Grrrrr actually backing off. He just wants to put pressure on that first zealot. He's going to defend with the rest of his zealots, expecting a very heavy Ling counter pressure, but this probe's kind of snuck in the base. Hasn't been scouted by TheBOy. Oh, now it gets scouted, so it's going to be running away, but very low health on that. Might be pretty low. I'm not sure if I like this interface because I'm so used to looking in the middle for where all the information is, but now all of the health information and everything is over to the right-hand side. It's a little bit strange for me to look there. Same for the gas and mineral counts. They're not typically up on the type right-hand corner, even in classic versions of Brood War interface. But big attack coming out from these Zerglings coming out right now. Was that I believe that was a Citadel going down. So very gateway heavy style coming out for Grrrrr. He's definitely going to be focusing on getting a lot of Zealots out, maybe a lot of Templar going for Storm, maybe even just going pure Zealot Archon. Definitely that is his calling card back in the day, where he would go into Templar tech and take his expansion behind Templar tech, because you couldn't really hold off Zerg forces, you couldn't hold off Hydras and things like that without having that. But actually that is a Forge coming up, so very fast +1 coming out from him. He's just going to be pumping out a lot of gateways with gateway units with +1, and this is a little bit scary. He needs to get a cannon up here at the front, and lots of Lings out here for TheBOy. He might try to run by it pretty soon, or maybe even just surround these Zealots and kill them. But with a +1 coming up pretty soon, the Grrrrr is going to be able to hold it off pretty nicely. but it just really depends on the timing of it. And lots of links coming up. Here's the Zergling speed. It's finally up. They're going to be pushing forward, and they're going to surround the Zealots. But I don't think it's enough. The links just aren't doing enough damage. One link tries to run by, and the rest of them pull away for right now. And just a bit of a little pressure. The drone count is probably very, very low for the boy. He might be struggling the further we get on this game. One probe goes down to this Ling, so a little bit effective there. First cannon is down. Lots of gateway units out, but we do have a Hydra Den going down. Look at that. They can't believe it. Like, BC's looking at it like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Look at how clear everything is. I'll be honest, the change I'm most looking forward to is I can't wait to have the, instead of the 4:3 resolution, we'll actually be able to see the sides of the screen as well. So you can just get a much larger field of vision. It makes stuff like microing mutas and things like that so much easier because you have more room to move your mouse. You can't accidentally scroll off of where your mutas are. But a big attack coming out now from Grrrrrr. And there's not many units out, only 2 Hydras and a couple of Lings in the back. And against this many Zealots with +1, this could be really, really dangerous. A sunken colony coming down right now. Worst case scenario, he can pull some drones to buffer for his units, but he can't lose a lot of drones at this point in time. Very nice flank here, but just boys gotta have very perfect control. Both players have to have very perfect control in order to do this. This is such an old school attack coming out right now. 1 Dragoon and a bunch of Zealots. Really cool to see. And no surprise, we are seeing that Citadel coming out, and we should see the Templar Archives pretty soon as well. Meanwhile, transferring probes down to the natural, and lots of Zerg units without having Storm or Archons up yet. This could be some serious trouble for Grrrrrr coming out, but he does kill off the first couple Zerglings because +1 is amazing in this matchup. He's even putting down an extra cannon just to make sure that he can defend against this. Right now, it looks like the boy's going to back off and maybe just drone up, make sure that he saturates up his bases. And Grrrrrr just taking up as well. So both players are going to be taking up. We're going to be getting into that mid game. It's going to be really fun to see how both players kind of approach the mid game, if anybody's going to go for any air attacks, or if we're just going to have ground versus ground micro wars. At this point, I think it's impossible for Zerg to really actually push into here. And this is actually really smart from Grrrrr. He actually has such a defensible position with +1 and lots of Zealots and even some cannons over here that he's actually just going to take this 3rd base up in the 12 o'clock position. And there's not really a lot that the boy can do about that right now.
Fast enough to do any counter-attacking. He kind of just has to turtle up and take these Hydra hits for a little bit longer.
And so a little bit of damage going down on that gateway. It looks like, oh, here's the Ghost Switch, but these are going to be able to push back right now. The Zealot legs are done. They're going to be pushing in right now and trying to surround as many of these Hydras as possible, but that annoying neutral unit getting in the way, maybe reducing some of that surface area. But for right now, the boy is pushing back right now. Let's see if he is continuing to macro, if he's just going to go all in with the next set of pressure, next set of units. The first couple of Templar are out, and I'm sure Storm is on the way as well. So once Storm is out, it's going to be very difficult to break this Protoss army, even producing off of these 3 hatcheries like he is. But he's continuing to build units. It looks like this is going to be somewhat of an all-in pressure. He did take a 3rd base, but this is going to be a ton of units pouring across the map from Zerg, and lots of Hydras. Without good Storms, there's a very good chance that the boy could actually take this game, but it really just depends on how well Grrrrr defends his base. The boy, is he going to go in here? This is so dangerous with this choke, but if he can get through the choke and actually break the front of this army, it's going to do a lot of work for him moving forward. But the Templar energy is continuing to build. I don't know if there are any Storms. I feel like if there were Storms, then Grrrrr would have already used at least one on this very close pack of Hydras, but here, the action is about to unfold coming up right now. Grrrr is actually going to keep that 3rd base up. He's going to let it finish and just try to defend as much as possible. But the boy is he's just doing a small pressure. He's buying time for the 3rd and 4th base. He's going to pull back for right now and just try to tech up and get maybe lurkers out and just go for that big Hydra lurker mid-game. Very surprisingly macro-heavy game for Grrrrrr and TheBOy. I don't think we expected to see that sort of play coming out from them. Definitely expected to see a lot more upfront action, a lot of back and forth micro action, but looks like they're preferring to play a big macro style, and the longer this game goes out, I think the more it's going to favor whoever has the better macro play. Honestly, I don't really know who that is because this is so old, but oh, we're going back to first person point of views. Look at this. So selecting a couple units, this is so cool. We haven't had this in so long, even in the ASLs and things like that, but it's so cool to actually see this stuff. I don't know if we saw whether or not Grrrrr actually uses hotkeys anymore. It didn't look like he did, but surprisingly good reaction time from him. I feel like even being retired for 14 years and not really playing all that much, his mechanics are actually pretty solid. Definitely could beat any a lot of players on ladder even now, as long as he knew the right builds. And the first couple storms coming out, they're going to be able to push this lurker back. The lurker unfortunately walks back to the storm, it's going to die. So there's a smiley face BM coming out. Exclamation point. Oh gosh. But the more important thing is that because Grrrrr was actually able to push those lurkers back, it actually opens him up a little bit to push out later in the game. He's not fully contained like he was before, and TheBOy's gonna have to make a couple more lurkers and send them out there. But even though TheBOy's going up to 4 bases, it looks like he's still staying on that lair tech. He's just going to go really heavily into the Hydras and the lurkers. We'll have to see if Overlord drops come into play, because Overlord drops are very, very good with Hydra lurker, strong mid games. But we'll hope to see some more stuff coming out. Oh, tries to do a run by, it doesn't quite get it all the way around, and that storm's going to clean it up. More and more lurkers going down. That's really not a good position to be in as the Zerg player. Even when you're going for a very Hydra lurker heavy army, when you just lose lurkers for free like that, it significantly weakens your army, and it wastes a lot of larvae that you would be using on drones and other things at that point in time. So not a very good trade there for TheBOy, but looks like he's going to continue to macro up. I like this play of actually just putting a bunch of Sunkens at this truck right now. That's going to actually allow him to take his entire side of the map for, I'm not going to say for free, but basically it just prevents any sort of frontal ground attacks from breaking him easily, and he can take all of those bases on his side of the map while going into high attack. But oh, really nice storm going down on those Hydras. Even another storm going down. I'm still trying to get used to the Hydra death animations because they look a little bit weird. I'm used to Hydras kind of like exploding a little bit. They like kind of explode to the side and like fall apart. And now they just kind of like fall apart. But this is a really cool idea coming out from TheBOy. He used his earlier map control to, oh, look how beautiful that Archon looks. Oh god, that is the most beautiful. It's even got purple in there now, and that's nice. But actually the Archon's going to go down right away, unfortunately. But I'm not sure that this is all that great of an engagement from Grrrrr. Really good storms though. Both of those storms were pretty solid, but not a lot of Protoss units left. But not a lot of Hydras either, so it looks like he's going to have to retreat to that sunken farm back over here. He's got a lot of lurkers that just morphed in, so he's going to be perfectly fine defending here. Grrrr's definitely not going to be able to push in right now, and we do see the drops coming in right now. Is he going to try to drop straight into the main? This might be a problem if he doesn't have enough units to defend against this attack coming in. We'll have to see. Hopefully he morphs those suckins and get those lurkers burged before this actually comes in. Hey, Crimson, absolutely right. They could have definitely killed each other before now, but as a caster, I have to help build the hype. All right, so we are going to be seeing the drop coming in right into the main at the same time that this Protoss army is pushing in, and there's not a lot of units here. No more lurkers left, so it's going to be hard to kill off all of these zealots. And the Protoss army is pushing in really heavily, getting on top of these lurkers, or these Sunkens. But big drop in the main, that's going to do quite a bit of damage. Hopefully the reinforcements can actually clean this up. Nothing but a couple of Dragoons left back on the offensive. But this middle line has been decimated. And Grrrrrr just immediately taking that expansion in the middle. He's just going to go with the flow and get around this. But first, Reaver is out. That could be doom right there. It's so hard to actually break that without a lot of units already in place. And this middle base has actually been broken. If the boy can get on top of production, maybe he can slow down this this damage that's coming into his main. But I don't know. This is looking pretty bleak for the boy. Even though he got a lot of damage done in the main, he still got those lurkers there. He's still in a lot of trouble, but oh, the Reaver's got caught out of position. The Reaver goes down, and it's just a couple Dragoons with some Lings and Hydras. He could easily clean this up as long as he gets units over there in time. This game is bananas. Absolutely crazy. One Lurker burrow, but the Observer isn't quite in position. I don't know if they can actually see that. And more units going down. These units being corralled into the corner. They're eventually going to get cleaned up, unfortunately. But the boy, there's still a couple Dragoons down here, and they can do a lot of damage to this drone line if he's not paying attention. But he needs to move that Observer over so he can finally kill off that Lurker. There it goes. Actually, that Lurker kills off 2 Dragoons all by itself, almost 3. And more of those Zealots walking in there. Actually, Grrrr's actually going to turn his Zealots over down to the bottom right-hand corner, make sure his opponent isn't expanding again. And the boy's in dire situation. He's lost 2 of his bases. He's working off of only 2 bases right now. He doesn't have the units to actually contest this at the moment. And even though he's trying a cute little lurker drop over here, unless it kills all the probes at this base, and he's able to clean up all of his opponent's units, he's going to be in a really big pickle. Pickle, that's the word I want. Alright, but more units, Protoss units moving across the map, and this is the problem. Even though the boy has cleaned this up and he's done significant damage to his opponent's economy, if he doesn't actually clean up these units, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But the couple Lings are actually going to do quite a bit right here, and a couple of Zealots even hiding down there in that bottom right-hand corner. The boy is slowly cleaning this up. If maybe he can retake this 3rd base and make a couple Sunkens, but sneaky Zealots over here, they're going to be coming into this 4th base and actually cleaning that up. And meanwhile, more and more units pushing across the map in the middle. And even though Grrrr's economy is taking a huge hit, he's got that 4th base, he's got that 5th base now. He's in excellent position, even though he couldn't mine for a very long time in those other bases. He was able to easily just transfer units, and he's back to full production on his gateways, pushing out across the map. Even a Reaver drop coming in right now. Reaver drop could do a lot of damage to this mineral line. We'll have to see if he goes for the big drop or if he actually just keeps that with his army. Another Reaver drop is going to be coming in. Looks like he's actually just going to consolidate all of his units and go for a big push. I think that's a smarter idea than trying to go for drop play. Your opponent's all bunched up together. No reason to go for anything super crazy, super fancy. Just consolidate all your units, bring them all together, and just do a big frontal push to win the game. So these 2 Lurkers are all that holds the line. Once these Lurkers go down, there's going to be nothing left. And 1 Lurker going down, 2nd one about to go down. And that's going to be in. Even some Dark Templars coming across the map. Look at that. DTs are going to easily be able to finish up this game. The damage, the DPS from DT is just way too much to deal with. And the boy even pulling drones now. He's desperately trying to stem the tide and hold this base, but it's not going to happen. Once he sees the DTs, he's going to know it's over. There's nothing left. There's nothing left to defend. There's the GG. GG. Grrrr wins the game. Surprisingly good game overall. You know, Grrrr has been retired for some number of years, but that was pretty impressive. Good macro, good micro overall. Not exactly polished like we would expect from a pro gamer of this particular era, but all things considered, that was a very well-played game. He absolutely deserved that win. And the boy, a little bit disappointed, but still very well played from him as well. Great to see these legends coming back and playing in the remastered.
attack was real. The Psy Storms were good, denying those lurkers that were trying to siege up.
Wolf is getting super excited about this game. That's one of those things that, even though I am a caster and I'm trying to build the hype for you guys, I also, since I'm not doing this for money, I also want to keep us rooted a little bit in reality. That everything isn't amazing, everything isn't perfect. There are some things that are questionable, there are some things that are bad. And I praise a lot of what TheBOy did, but definitely you can tell that he's out of practice. His decision making wasn't quite on point. He didn't know when he could attack and when he could expand. He did a lot of in between, and that caused him a lot of problems later down on the road. But let's be real though. If we go back to this era, if we go back to that style of play, Protoss was always the strongest. Protoss, it was very easy to play defensively, get a lot of upgrades. You could just amass a lot of units and aim move your opponent as long as you hit really good storms and things like that. You'd win every fight. With Zerg, it was a little bit more difficult, but Zerg had some really nice cheeses they could rely on. And without really going for that cheese, I think TheBOy had a little bit of difficulty actually overcoming the later stages of the game, where Protoss would naturally be a little bit better. But anyway, in either case, this is definitely a blast from the past. We're seeing lots of crazy strategies on crazy maps that we haven't seen for so long. I mean, when was the last time you saw a one zealot pressure into like 7 zealots into an expansion into Storm? Like, it's so weird. We haven't seen anything like that in so long, but it makes sense back if you consider the mindset of the time. Back in the day when people didn't have all the super refined strategies, back when people didn't know exactly their exact decision trees from minute 0 till the end of the game. The game was a lot less refined. It was much more like the Wild West, and mostly you just focused on having the right units to deal with your opponent's units, and then just you walk up and be like, can I fight that army? Oh, okay, no, I think I'll just back off. But really fun to see. I can't wait to see the next match. The next match... Oh, actually, we're just going to straight into game number 2. I didn't know these were best of 3s. I'm super excited about that now. Can TheBOy come back? Will Grrrrr continue to win? Continue to be the OG god? We'll have to see. Going into match 2. As you can see, I'm running a little bit low on water, so I'm hoping we have an extended break sometime soon so I can get a little bit of extra water. But looks like we're moving into the next game. It's going to be on some map. I don't even know. But we're not even gonna talk about it. In the bottom right, in the purple, that's Grrrrr, and in the top left, in the green, there's our Zerg player, winner of the 1999 pre-Kespa, pre-OSL era. It is TheBOy.
Yeah, 1999, he was second place in the first ever big StarCraft, losing to Guillaume. And in 2000, Guillaume took...
So we're going to see if we have a little bit more of a standard map coming out right now. Crimson says it's Neo Jungle Story. Sorry, second. TheBOy won second. My bad. I don't know my history that well, and I'm kind of winging it. I did a lot of reading earlier today, but I don't know everything, so I'm definitely relying on the chat as a bit of a crutch. And actually, is this an island map? I think this is an island map, right? Is it? Or maybe it's not. No, I was wrong. It's not an island map. Okay, it's just like a really funky map where both players can kind of move out of their base. I guess that's an island on the backside. Pretty interesting either way. Again, this is one of those difficulties of casting or just even watching games from an older period of time. It's so weird because you don't know where anything is. You're like, I've never seen this map before, and none of it makes sense. So, okay, according to Crimson here in the chat, it is going to be 4 island expansions that are behind the mains. And meanwhile, the only other expansions we really have on the map are these ones in the center of the map that are a little bit more open. And of course the huge one in the very center of the map, which probably won't get taken in this game, but you never know if we get into a weird split map situation. We actually see the proxy hatchery at the front. He's not going to go for the riskier hatch all the way at that expansion out in the front. The positioning of the hatchery is actually really nice because that will allow him to put down some suck-ins earlier on to defend if his opponent does any sort of a zealot pressure or anything like that. You can just place that there, place a couple sunk-ins, and he'll be pretty safe against any early gateway attack. Meanwhile, Grrrrr is just going for the same strategy in last game. He's going to be going for that early zealot pressure, but in this time, instead he got an early gas, so we're going to be seeing him go into a bit of a standard game. He might try just turtling really heavily on just the zealot forge expansion into Storm, and then he'll take his expansion from there. Maybe he'll even go for the Robotech first, which makes a lot of sense since you have these island expansions. You can shuttle really heavily at the front with some cannons, go for your Robotech, get a dropship or a shuttle, and drop a probe behind your mineral line, and then just go into Reavers from there. It'd be really cool to see, but I don't think we'll be seeing Stargate. Stargate's a little bit too old for both of these players. The Corsair play is just a little bit too new school and requires a lot of control and it's a little bit difficulty, so I don't actually think we're going to see that, but we do actually see the Stargate. Maybe I was wrong. I'd be very surprised to see Corsairs coming out, but it looks like it actually might be Corsair Reaver, one-base Corsair Reaver, coming out from Grrrrr. And this surprises me a bit. I know that this was used a little bit back in the day, but it's definitely much more of a newer strategy that was popularized with on larger maps with players like Bisu and the likes. First couple leagues are going to be coming across the map to scout and maybe even pick off a unit that could be out of position. You see that creep calling up in the front. That's going to be for that sunken wall that I talked about earlier. And the Stargate's building something. We don't know what it's building yet. We're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna see +1 weapons. I'm pretty sure we're not gonna see +1 air weapons come out. Looking forward to see what's coming out. If he's actually gonna go for the scout. This was a very old build where you could actually go for scouts early on. And oh, there's a wall. There's a hole there. The leagues could actually get in, but they're actually just gonna try to get us around on this zealot. But not very good micro there from the boy. He's actually going to maybe lose all these lanes without killing a single unit. Oh god, wow. Excellent micro there from the boy, or sorry, from Grrrrr. Not losing a single unit to those lings, and that was very nice. And we are going to see the Corsairs coming out. This is a little bit surprising, but it's going to be the Corsairs into the Reavers, so we're definitely going to see that sort of play coming out. Or maybe he'll just go for Corsair straight into this expansion. What buildings do we have coming out? You see a forge. I wonder if he might actually just build the robotics just so he can get the shuttle. But the Spire coming up for the boy, he's going to be going for this one-base Mutalist play. And that could cause a lot of problems for Grrrrr, who didn't really go for a lot of anti-air. He's only got 2 Corsairs out right now, and he doesn't have any cannons up at that expansion. He's definitely going to have to get some cannons up in time to actually deal with this, but the first 2 Scourge are out. They may be able to pick off an early Corsair. If they can pick off an early Corsair, it makes it so much stronger for the Mutalist coming on a little bit later. But glitching out these Scourge just a little bit of damage done on this one Corsair, but he might be able to actually pick it off. The Corsairs are a little bit faster, or Scourge are a little bit faster than Corsairs. One hits. Is the second one going to hit? Oh my gosh, that's so intense. Oh, he switched targets. That looked like a bit of a mistake, but first couple of Mutalists are going to come in right here, and the Scourge is going to be able to screen for the Mutalists while they get the damage done. But 2 cannons already on the way up, and there's not enough DPS on these Mutalists to actually kill this off. He's just going to kill off the probe and back off right now. He knows he can't actually kill these off at this point in time. He does get one nice hit with the Scourge, but he's got to be careful with those Mutals, not lose too many. Meanwhile, just making a couple drones behind this and getting up his drone saturation so he can get this natural up and running.
While he may think he's going to get this sneaky, fast island base and maybe take an economic lead.
And at this point, it's really hard to tell who's in lead and who's behind. There's definitely been a lot going on back and forth, and he's actually going to kill off this pylon. Very unusual to kill off the pylon. But it might have to do with just the Nexus, so he's going to have to kill off this cannon and this pylon before he can actually place the Nexus. This is one of those weird things where like it really should just fit up there, but because this is like a really old map, like the minerals are not placed correctly. You can't place your Nexus in totally the right place, so lots of annoying things. This is the problem you have with older maps. Lots of Link coming out right now, and TheBOy may try to go for a frontal assault, which I think is a very brilliant idea at this point in time. If he can get a frontal assault with this Mutaling and break the front, he can actually do quite a lot of damage. But again, being indecisive, he's just going to pull back with his units. He's not going to try to go for the all-in. He's just going to allow his opponent to build up. And like I said, I think this is a bit of a problem, especially when you consider the time period that we're talking about. The time period is you really want to be focusing very heavily on, as the Zerg player, just getting a lot of pressure in early on. You don't really want to go to the late game versus the Protoss, because Protoss has lots of really scary late game tools. They have Storms, they have Reavers, they have Carriers. So it's going to be very difficult to deal with the Protoss army the later this game goes on. But Zerg has that advantage early game with very cost-efficient units that can do a lot of damage if used correctly. But actually, he's just going to be playing it safe. He's just going to be trying to get this expansion out. And honestly, at this point, if you're going to play this safe, you might as well just take a third and just full drone. Not even worth making units at this point. Not even worth making your static defense, because there's nothing really that can come at you right now. Not for a little while. But we do see the first Corsair is coming out right now, and that is going to be heading into head straight for the main. Unfortunately, Mutos a little bit out of position, so they're not going to actually be able to catch this going up to his base. The Lings aren't spread out across the map, so they're not going to catch wind of this either. So a little bit unfortunate that he might be able to miss this, but very nicely done with a Sunk and a Spore in each base. That is going to make defending against this significantly easier. But I'm not sure it's going to completely stop this, because of course the Reaver can actually just outrange this Spore and just kill it off. But Air Force coming in right now, and the shuttle is all by itself. The shuttle's being left alone. There, the shuttle goes down, and all of this is going to die off. The big flank is actually going to come in. He's going to be able to kill off both these Reavers and a lot of those Corsairs. And there's not much anti-air that at all for Grrrrrr anymore. Saved all of these drones too. Wow. So that was actually really, really good for TheBOy. He's actually taking a third base as well behind this. So honestly, a huge counterattack just at the front with Lings and Mutants. We're just in this game right now. But again, he's being indecisive. He's going to pull back. He's going to try to play defense. But just go. Just go for it, TheBOy. Like, there's no reason to stay at home. Just go. Just box all of our units and go right at the front right now. You can win the game. He's just gonna pull back. He really wants to play defensively. He wants to get up that big mid-game army. Maybe there's just like a gentleman's agreement, like we don't kill each other too early. But with that much damage, honestly, that's enough to just outright end the game. But he's playing too safe, and I really don't like it. I wish he played just a little bit more aggressive. Rebuilds that Spore. Looks like he is going to be sticking to the lair tech yet again. He's going to be going very heavily into Hydras. And we're going to have, wow, 3 Stargates going. And those are just Corsairs that are coming out. Those aren't going to be, you know, that's not like anything clever or anything. That's just a ton of Corsairs getting out really quickly. And maybe that's just because Grrrrr was a little bit afraid that he might not have the anti-air to deal with a follow-up attack, but it's going to be detrimental to him later on unless he decides to go into something like a hidden carriers or something like that. But for right now, TheBOy has complete control of the middle of the map. He's getting these 3 bases up. I would even like to see a 4th base go down, if possible. But both players just stacking up really heavily, getting lots of units, and gosh, that is so many Corsairs that are going down. Both players checking the corners of the map, making sure there's nothing sneaky going down. And we will definitely see some micro going down pretty soon. But the Corsairs moving out right now, this is a little bit questionable. Why would you go offensively with these Corsairs right now? If they're not careful, they can definitely get flanked by these mutas and definitely get hurt. But they're trying to see what's going on over here. The mutas are moving into position right now, but they're just going to barely miss these Corsairs on the way out. Had they gotten there and gotten that surround on the Corsairs, definitely a couple of them could have gone down without contest. But lots of Hydras being poured out right now. And tons and tons of units coming across the map. Oh, and here's the moment. They're gonna fight, but the Corsairs are gonna win. The splits aren't very great for the Mutas, and all of the Mutas go down, unfortunately, and that's huge for Grrrrrr. He's gonna be able to get a lot of pressure coming in from these from this Corsair dropship. Shuttle play. Hey, Grrrrrr, there we go. This is StarCraft Remastered. This StarCraft Remastered event is going on in Busan right now. Lots of old legends playing against each other, so lots of really cool stuff, and we also get to see the really neat new graphics. And oh my god, that zoom! Okay, that is like a mega zoom. That allows you to see basically the entire map, actually. Lots of these Hydras going down, but they are eventually going to be able to push this back. And this is the problem when you lose air control in this matchup. Once you lose air control, then your opponent can continually just do these Reaver drops and make your life a living hell. You just always have to have units in position. It's very difficult to actually do. Meanwhile, are we going to be seeing very heavy upgrades in? Looks like TheBOy is more worried about just shoring up his defenses. More and more creep colonies going down. He's going to be putting those into Sunkens and Spores. And I'm a little bit disappointed that he hasn't taken a 4th base right now. His opponent, Grrrrr, is going up to his 4th base right now. Or sorry, his 3rd base right now. And there's not a lot of units coming out right now. But TheBOy's actually going to be going in for a big counterattack. He's got a good number of units, but not very good splits. And they're not quite all together. He needs to bring all of his units together. And he can definitely push this down. There's definitely an opening here where he can push this down and get a huge lead in this game, but it has to be right now. It has to be before the Reaver numbers get too high. It has to be before his opponent has the proper defenses to deal with this many Hydras. And here comes the attack right now. Not a lot of drones back at home. Hopefully he makes a couple more drones. They're trying to come up and snipe these Reavers, but they're very nicely inside this mineral line being blocked off. One of the Reavers goes down. Not very good shuttle micro right now. The second Reaver goes down, and this 3rd base is actually contested. It's going to go down. Lots of probes also going down as well. So the pendulum is swinging back into the Zerg favor once again. Wow. Lots of amazing pressure from TheBOy. He's actually going to find himself coming back into this game right now. We'll see if he goes into that Lurker or if he just stays on pure Hydra at this point. Grrrr having quite a bit of those Dragoons. It's a bit surprising to see that many Dragoons and no Zealots or Templar behind it, but he's definitely going to have to start filling out his army with the proper units if he wants to actually come back at this game. And honestly, I think the best way to do that is just drop down a Templar Archives and just go into Zealot Archon production with the number of Dragoons that you have out already. Zealot Archon is such a lean, nice composition, but actually those Corsairs flying directly under those Hydras, and a couple of them going down. They are going to be able to kill off a couple of those Overlords, which is a little bit annoying, and that's actually going to supply block TheBOy just a little bit, but maybe he can get a surround on these Corsairs. Is he going to be able to intercept? If he intercepts and picks off a lot of these... Oh, they're flying right over the... Oh, he's going to kill 2 of them, 3 of them? Maybe even a 4th one? No, not quite, but all the Corsairs are basically gone, and this opens up the floodgates for a potential Muta switch after he trades off these Hydras, but lots of these Dragoons coming down. Is he going to be able to snipe off all of the the Reavers. One of the Reavers gets picked up. That was very nice micro, but all the Dragoons are down, and it's just these two Reavers and a shuttle left to defend. That goes down as well, and there's the GG. Grrrrrr loses, and Boy wins, ties up the series 1-1. We're actually going to be going into a third game, I believe, unless we're only playing a best of two. In which case, I don't know. We'll have to find out because I don't know the exact format of this so far. I think it's going to be best of three, but I'm really excited to see him come back. And you can see Grrrrr's a little bit disappointed in that game. He had that in the bag, but just overcommitted to the Corsairs and then lost them for free, and that definitely snowballed out of his favor, unfortunately. Definitely, I agree with Tasteless there. It was definitely an unusual opening from both players. We don't usually see Corsair Reaver from games or gamers that are this old, but really cool to actually see that coming out right now, and to see that contested with the Mutalisk Scourge. We saw something very similar to that even recently in Fat versus AJ, so I can't remember the exact players that were playing off the top of my head, but we saw something very similar to that, and even I think a little bit in the GTB we saw some Mutalisk versus Corsair DT. So it's very advanced for what I would expect from these two players, and especially considering what we saw in the first game. So, but either way, it was really cool to see those sorts of strategies come out, see the way that they actually worked on that older map as well. But we're gonna go to a break, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. What an amazing crowd! I'll see you guys in just a bit. We'll be going to Game 3.
임진덕 전쟁이 시작됐습니다. 먼저 SK텔레콤 이면 선수의 진영은 1시입니다. 다음은 이에 맞서 홍대호 선수는 가로 방향입니다. 11시. 네, 이면 선수 좁은 입구 쪽에 베럭스를 건설하고 있습니다. 정찰하면서 해처리를 자, 말이 남겨와 함께 SB 5기 정도가 상대편 지정으로 가거든요. 네, 그걸 말리게 만들겠다는 거죠. 자, 벙커 만들죠. 이거 시위예요. 예, 플레이를 해줘야 되는데. 이거는 벙커 거의 완성된다고 봐야 됩니다. SB가 정말 많습니다. 자, 뒤로 반대 하나 잡지 못하는 홍대 선수. 결국 해처리 포기하고 뒤쪽으로 들어 뺍니다. 이거만 또 많이 투자하지 않고 이 정도만 딱 원래 목적, 소기의 목적만 달성하고 딱 빼요. 쓰레기 처리를 엄청 과감하네요. 자, 안만 돌리는 거 이제 확인했습니다. 이만 선수. 이 막고서 있는 것은 이미한 선수이고요. 네. 자, 수비 축이 무너지면 안 됩니다. 여기서 럭커를 또 추가됐죠, 홍대 선수. 자, 럭커 2개 홍대 선수 경기 모습 나오고 있죠. 그러면서 저글링들 오고 있고요. 저글링까지 나온 상황에서 파이벳이 나와 있는 걸 보고 저글링 달려는 거죠, 지금. 자, 벙커는 이겨졌고. 이제 벙커도 풀었어요. 이거는 거의 준비 마음 먹은 거거든요. 자, 앞뒤입니다. 홍대 선수 이게 한 방입니다. 홍대 선수는 노릴 수 있는 이게 한 방이에요. 이거 안 통하면 경기 끝나죠. 네. 자, 어떻게 될지 이 한 방이 통하면 동해선 뚫어야 되거든요. 뚫어내야 되는데 택시 하나 남았고. 아래쪽에서 전멸. 홍대 전멸 뺍니다. 저 벙커 컸어요. 홍대 전멸 뺍니다. 이 방어형 해처리까지 밀리게 생겼어. 다시 한번 럭커 5개. 자, 들어오죠, 홍대 선수. 자, 한 방에 어느 정도 문제는 한 방에 치면 집중했어요. 네, 홍진호 선수가 지금 열심히 버티고 있는 이유는 보러가기 전에 럭커 거의 다 썼어요. 임진덕 두 번째 경기입니다. 레퀴엠. 자, 먼저 SK텔레콤의 이면 선수의 진영을 세입니다. 그리고 12시는 현재 1대0으로 뒤지고 있는 KTF 홍준호입니다.
예, 지금도 베럭스를 먼저 가는 플레이를 임현 선수가 보여주고 있는데
확장을 가져옵니다. 패치를 펴요.
지금
자 1경기처럼 또 나갑니다. 마린 2기와 함께 S 5개.
이 드론에 적의 자원 채취를 방해하겠다는 거죠.
그럼 초반에 상대편의 약한 타이밍 자 본진 쪽으로
그렇죠. 예. 이게 사실은 홍진호 선수가 1경기에서도 이렇게 드론을 동원을 했었어야 되는 거였습니다. 예.
자 마린 하나도 아직 못 잡았어. 마린
세 개까지.
이거는요. 예, 적의 손해가 이만저만이 아닙니다.
야, 지금은 이 드론들 동원하고 그러면은 사실은 SCB가 세다 그래도 컨트롤 싸움이 되는 거.
이거 드론 다 죽었어요. 거의 반 이상 죽었어요. 신전스코에 당했습니다만 하면 다 지금부터 매 경기는 마지막 경기가 될 수도 있습니다. 먼저 SK텔레콤 이면 선수의 진영 9시입니다. 용준 선수 6시입니다. 6시 또 세게 저거 이면 선수 또다시 빠르게 베럭스 짓고 있고 타격을 최소화하는 건 중요하거든요. 타격이 없으면 더 좋은 것이고
지금 중요한 거는 미래학상에서 임현 선수 SCV가 나오죠.
이면 또 나가요.
SCV 지금 나옵니다.
자, 세 번째 나오거든요. 다시 이번에 드론 받고
드론들이 나오고 있어야 됩니다.
네. 자 어떻게 할 것인지 자 스포츠
그렇죠.
아주 단기 전에 끝낼 수 있는 전략을 준비해왔습니다.
홍준 자리 잡아놓고 머리 놓으라 이거다. 머리 놔라. 머리 2개 왔어요. 해처리 만들기 1번 직전.
SCB들이 똘똘 뭉쳐서 오다.
뒤. 자 뒤를 잡아서 머리 잡으세요. 머리.
컨트롤 싸움이에요.
머리 하나도 못 잡았어요. 머리 하나 못 잡고.
이러는 가운데 포크 완성되면 또 여기 위험합니다.
5개 죽었어요. 뒤에 홍준 선수 트럭 거의 다 죽었어요.
야, 이거는 지지네요.
다 죽었습니다. 홍준호 급격히 들어주고 있습니다.
이거는
저그 상들의 무적 필살기입니다.
홍준호 선수 2-3경기에 이 차이를 드론이 없어요.
시각 변동이 일어날 수밖에 없습니다.
올라가다
위험합니다.
하나 깰 수 있을지 고치는 SCB가 더 많습니다.
아무것도 못했어요. 홍준호 선수.
이번에 4분 13초 만에 결국 같은 작전이 3번 연패했습니다. 홍준호.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GG Forever StarCraft Remastered launch. We're doing a rebroadcast of the official cast. Just decided to do this morning. Had nothing better to do, so decided to cast some games. We get to watch some really super old games. You can see Tasteless getting caught sipping a drink of his, but here at home we can have whatever we want. I'm still so I just moved to a new place, and all I drink pretty much is like tap water. So I'm still trying to get used to the new tap water. It tastes a little bit different here. Not really my particular style, but yeah, I moved my head to the center to accommodate the where the overlay is, but that might not work because now I feel like really awkward because I'm like sitting in between like Tasteless and Artosis. Like, hold on, you guys. There we go.
And Yellow is a player. Look, he's very well rounded, and he was very good at
This
especially
way.
a lot of these tactical mid-game Zerg plays. But for these two players playing here now,
This way I'm just like sitting in between them right there. So like, you know, like, hey, it's like Papa Tasteless and Papa Wolf. You know, like I'm just like sitting, you know, on like the desk, and my head's like barely peeking over, like, hey guys, StarCraft Remastered. But we'll just put it back where it was. I don't know if I put it there because it like looked a little bit out of place the other way around, but I don't know. I don't know, you guys. This is one of the difficulties you have with rebroadcasts is you're not controlling the production. You have no idea where anything's gonna be, so you're just kind of YOLOing it half the time.
So this should be a pretty micro-intensive matchup.
Looking forward. So it looks like it was a best of 2. I think we actually moved on to the next match. Yeah, so we are going to be having Boxer versus Yellow. Unfortunately, it's not a best of 3 match. I think that's a little unfortunate, but time permitting, you know, sometimes it's difficult to do a full best of 3. Best of 2 is nice for showing off, you know, like you know, both players playing and maybe even taking a win. So really cool to see this. A little bit unfortunate it's not a best of 3, but it's not about winning and losing, guys. It's about enjoying the game and watching all the sick new graphics. Look at that. Look at those fingers. Those are moving. That's definitely faster than the 130 APM we saw in last game. I'll tell you that. Yellow, the original Kong, the man behind the Kongs, unfortunately never actually won an OSL. He won a couple of smaller tournaments, but never won an OSL. I think Crimson dropped the stats in the chat earlier. It was something like 22 silver medals, something insane like that. So, despite being probably one of the best pro gamers of all time, Yellow just was never able to actually. He was never actually able to reach that apex of winning a gold medal and actually becoming a dominant or a celebrated player. Mostly he's just known for his failure, which is really unfortunate, but still have to respect him for a lot of talent that went behind it. On the other side, Boxer, the King of Terran, we're definitely going to see some really cute micro plays coming out from him. I can't wait. So, jumping into the game. Is this Fighting Spirit? Fighting?
One of the most famous maps to this day, but Tasteless introduced the players.
Fighting Spirit. This is the map that started it all. In the top right-hand corner in the blue, it is going to be the Terran player, Boxer, the King of StarCraft, King of Terran. And in the bottom right, the maker of the Kong line, it is going to be Yellow in orange. It's unfortunate it wasn't in yellow, because I'm sure that joke has been made like a billion times, but having yellow and yellow is probably pretty fun. Anyhow, so Fighting Spirit is a really impressive map. It is the map that really kind of started out standard map making. It was the first map that had a very standard natural, easy to take natural. You can take your natural, you can defend it versus pretty much anything in the early game, and then taking a third, there was another third that was close by, or if you wanted to take a far away third and another main, you could do that. And so there was lots of different things that you could do this map, and for a long time people thought it was the most balanced map ever. A lot of the concepts that went behind this map were carried on throughout the rest of StarCraft's history, and even today we use a lot of those ideas. The center map position, that center expansion doesn't really serve much of a purpose, except for in really weird split map positions. But for the most part, this is a map that has a lot of nuance to it. At the same time, though, it has been proven to be way Terran favored. The win rate is something stupid, like 70% on this in all time. But oh, getting some nice damage on that drone for that SCV, so that's going to be a little bit annoying. We're going to see definitely a much more standard game than we saw in the last two games. We're going to see the 12 hatch coming down and the bunker at this natural, and even going for the depot block. So Boxer doesn't want any information coming in right now. He doesn't want his opponent to know what's going on. And with this Overlord coming in so late, Boxer could definitely fake and expand and do something like go like 3 racks all in at this point. That would be a very Boxer build to do. But he's actually gonna fake the bunker rush instead. He's not gonna be able to actually pull this off. This is mostly just to cause a lot of drones to come off mining. Is this just me, or is that SCV death like way more realistic than anything else in this game? The SCV death like actually looked really nice. But yeah, forcing Yellow to just pull a lot off the line, and we do see the gas coming in. This is definitely going to be the 3 racks all in, I think. But actually, he may just go in. No, he's going to go for drops instead. So we're going to see some early drops coming out, maybe even 2-port Wraith off the back of this. Two-port Wraith is a very micro-intensive type of playstyle, but it seems very fitting for Boxer to go for that sort of style. Go for two-port Wraith or Vulture drops. We'll have to see what the plan is. Unfortunately, there is a little gap that a Ling could slip through in that wall. That's not a Ling-tight wall, unfortunately. If you want a Ling-tight wall there, you actually build the bunker, or sorry, the racks a little bit to the left, so it's overlapping that, basically where that other depot is, and then you build the other depot above it, and that's a full wall, because the only time you can get a full wall is the top of the racks with the depot. So there is a little gap there. It's possible that Yellow could have actually just rushed that and gone for it. We are going to be seeing the machine shop coming out, so it's definitely going to be some sort of a factory drop, either early vultures with mines or speed, or we're going to see some sort of a weird old school tank drop. I don't think we're going to see any sort of tanks come out, because tank drops are actually just notoriously bad unless you have a particular unless you have a particular place to actually abuse it, like a cliff or something that can abuse it. A little bit weird that Remastered actually doesn't show you what's building. Maybe that's just this particular overlay, maybe they're using a unique overlay, but when you click on things you can't see what's building, and that's a little bit weird, considering that's for a long time in the history of StarCraft. That's how we figured out whether things are building, is we've clicked on the building to see what's going on. But if they did add a production tab, I think a lot of people are going to be pissed. So we'll have to see how that works out. It is going to be the Vulture drops coming out from Boxer. He is going to be going for the very aggressive play against his opponent, but Spire coming out from Yellow looks like he's actually prepared pretty nicely for this sort of drop. And Boxer's just going to expand behind this. His opponent already sees what's going on right now. A whole bunch of Vultures coming out, and with how late these Vultures are coming out and how well it's been scouted, I don't know if the Vultures can even get a drop off. Maybe he's going to try to push up here to the front, to the sunken, and then just try to drop in the main, but his opponent's going to be prepared with Scourge or Mutas by the time this actually comes out. It's a little bit surprising to go for the Spire on top of the Hydra Den, but even just making a few Hydras is just going to be able to clean this up pretty nicely. Just having 2 to 3 Hydras in each mineral line easily cleans this up. But the Vultures are dropped. Let's see how much damage they can actually do. These are going to be speed Vultures, so they're going to be very difficult to actually catch. And Boxer screwing up a little bit there. I think he was trying to lay a mine or something, but just kind of messed up a little bit there. And the first couple of Hydras are out. They're going to be able to push this back for a little while. And not a lot of damage done overall. Maybe he can sneak these behind the mineral line and do a lot of damage. But either way, this is not as much damage as these Vultures could have done, all things considered. He's going to continue to just use the drop pressure to get his economy up, though. This is very smart from Boxer, too. Even though he knows that his drop has failed, he hasn't done a ton of damage. He knows he can still use this to keep his opponent pinned back for a little bit longer, but not much longer. Here comes the Mutas. And is there anything to defend at home? There's nothing here. There's only 1 Rax, 2 Raxes. Maybe he's going to make a Wraith or to defend. He can't even... Wait, he does have an Armory, so he can make a Valkyrie to actually deal with these Mutalisks, but this is a very weird build coming out from Boxer, a very technical one, and it's going to cause a lot of problems for him if he's not ready to deal with the next set of Mutalisks that come out. Barely manages to escape that timing window, but here comes more stuff, and even some Scourge coming along with this. And Scourge can ruin this up pretty nicely. Oh my gosh, she's not microing the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie goes down. There's only a couple of Marines to defend. Can they? Okay, good. The second Valkyrie does come out. That's going to be able to push this back for now. And maybe Yellow actually overextend there, not building drones in that time period, just focusing mostly on getting his army numbers up. And surprisingly, Boxer is held with just a very nice mix of a couple Marines and a Valkyrie. Very technical build that we haven't seen very much from Terrans in a long time. This is more or less, I would call this the fantasy build, actually, where you just kind of get one of everything, do your thing. But more Mutals harass coming in right now. The Valkyries can be really annoying, but they can't actually kill off they can't actually kill off all of these Mutals for free. But just trying to be really cute with the way that he's microing those Scourge, and that's going to be pushed back right now. Very, actually, surprisingly high level play coming out from both of these players. Actually very well played so far. I'm really surprised at Boxer's timing. It's actually really nice. And he's going to be going into that Marine tank style with a couple of Valkyries to augment that. But he really needs to consolidate his Valkyries, get up to about 3 or 4, and then he'll be in really good shape. He can't actually... he won't have any problems coming out from future units. But lots of units coming in right now, including those lurkers. And my roommates are slamming things, so I think they're a little bit... My new roommates might be upset with me talking loudly. I'm going to try to lower my volume just a little bit, but I'll try to keep up the hype anyway. So, the front wall is going to be going down right now, and once the first science vessel gets out, it's going to be very easy to clean this up. Even with just a good scan, it's going to be but he's actually going to go straight in. He's got to kill off this turret immediately, but he's not killing off the turret, so there's vision on these lurkers. They can definitely be picked off, and slowly going down. Here comes Siege Run. Honestly, I don't know why he didn't just move in and snipe all those. I think that's being maybe a little bit too afraid of there, but eventually that is going to be pushed back. This lurker is doing quite a bit of damage, and meanwhile behind this, Yellow is taking his third base, getting a ton of drones, a ton of economy out. Looks like he's going to be going into that hive right now.
He might be able to fish the Terran forward and then dive in with the next group of Lynx and Lurkers.
Lots of lurkers going down. It's actually really bad, losing all 5 of those lurkers. There's going to be a lot... Oh, he's actually just going to go for the third. He's going to try to just all in right now, but I don't know if this is going to work. The scans are good, and very nicely played from Boxer. He's going to hold the aggression from Yellow. Yellow's in a lot of trouble, though. He can't continue throwing away units like this, even if it is keeping his opponent pinned back, because eventually he'll run out of units, and he won't be able to hold off the next attack. We'll have to see. Right now, he's just checking for third base. Yellow wants to make sure his opponent isn't going for that third base quite yet. Make sure that he still has that base advantage as he's actually going up to the 4th base as well. Once the Defilers come out, he's going to be able to switch into that full Defiler Ling Lurker style. It's going to allow him to push across the map and gain a lot more map control. And without having map control on the map right now, Boxer's in a lot of trouble because he can't stop his opponent from getting up the economy that he wants. And once once Hive hits and those money units start to come out, the Defilers and the Ultras as well, it's going to be much harder to actually deal with the Zerg army.
Those dark swarms, he has lurkers, of course, on his ramp to the bottom left. And because this wasn't a 5 racks, more standard, more modern type of play from Boxer, he doesn't have a large bioforce to even look to threaten that bird base right now. It's very small, as you can see here.
So we do have a dropship coming in right now. Very interesting technical play by Boxer to go for this Valkyrie to clear out the space for his dropship, but it's not going to happen. And actually, this gets spotted. That dropship actually might go down if he kills off both the... Okay, he kills off both the Scourge, so he's actually going to be in pretty good shape. Boxer very smartly pulling back at just the right times, and knowing when he can push too far and when not. This is the master of dropships. You have to remember that Boxer is the one who popularized dropships. He's the one who made them popular, because for a long time they were considered completely useless. They were slow, and they couldn't run away from Scourge and things like that, but they're actually quite useful as long as you can make sure you know where your opponent's units are. And the first science vessel is out. It looks like we're going to have a push out across the map with the science vessel and the tanks, but at this point, Yellow's already set up. He's got units over that third base ready to flank. He's got a ton of units out here as well. Wonder where those Defilers are. He's got a couple lurkers out in the front. They're going to slow this siege down for quite a long time. Meanwhile, he's got the first Defilers out. Let's see if Consume is done. If Consume is done, then he can definitely... Oh, look how cute they look. Little cute dancey. Little cute dancey. I like how they kept the pixelated dance, too. Like it doesn't just like normally dance like you would expect something like, oh, he's gonna tank for free there. That was a little bit unfortunate, and you can't really do this. You have to be really careful about the way you do this. Oh, the science vessel got sniped off, which was really unfortunate, but this secret dropship moving out across the map. Secret dropship, man. But it's going to fly right over some unmorphed Hydras. Like, what are the chances of that? And then also getting sniped by some Scourge. Really unfortunate there for Boxer. And Boxer's in a pretty difficult position as the Terran player. He does have very cost-efficient units, but he was unable to stop his opponent from getting to Hive and getting that money mix of units up. So it's going to be much harder for him to actually deal with this. And again, running units straight into these lurkers and losing them for free. So this is just something you can't do as the Terran player. You can't continue to hemorrhage units. The first Defiler is out here, and the first couple swarms should be coming down pretty nicely. But they have 33 official matches versus each other. I read somewhere that they were 30 versus 33 against each other in official matches. So I think they have closer to 60. But I could be wrong about that. Natty's Canal is down for Yellow right now, and he's pushing now with the Swarms. Swarms looking really nice in HD, by the way. They look pretty much the same, with just some highlighted colors, which is really nice. And Boxer is actually just going to sprint forward and try to get past these, which is very, very aggressive. And he's going to lose one of his tanks for it, but at the same time, he's kind of stopped. His opponent would try desperately to keep him from pushing forward, but instead he just runs straight through it, and he's actually going to get right on top of this. He's going to kill off the maybe kill off the Nidus. Oh, but there is the Swarm. Swarm is going to stop the Bio from pushing any further into this natural, but right now he's mostly just trying to kill off this Sunken. This Sunken's still alive. He really needs to kill off the Sunken, or else he's going to take way too much damage. And here comes the flank coming from behind. It's going to kill off even more units. Luckily, he's still got that Science Vessel there, so he's got the vision on those Lurkers. He's going to be able to focus them down and kill them off, but I don't know that there's going to be enough to actually to push forward here. And Yellow holds for now with that 4 bases. At this point, actually, wow, going into the Fire Bats as well. So Boxer's pretty much all in with this push, and Yellow needs to make a couple Scourge. It's like just this one Science Vessel. Without the Science Vessel, Boxer has a lot more difficulty pushing forward. He's not going to be able to clear off the Lurkers, and he's going to have to use a lot of scans, etc., etc. But a couple of Mutalisks coming over here maybe to harass the natural, and that could cause a lot of problems, force Boxer to bring a couple units home, especially as he's pushing across the map right now and pulling his attention in different ways. But Bio not paying attention again. They're going to lose a couple more units, but Firebats are pretty dang good against Lings, and more and more units just moving across the map. And we're actually going to see Guardians, so pretty cool play coming out from Yellow. Instead of just using the Mutos, he's actually going to be harassing with the Guardians. But more and more units pouring across the map. With just at least one Swarm, this would be a much easier push, as well as having it radiate for Boxer would be an easier push for him as well. But right now, both players just playing a little bit by little bit, and they're the Guardians. The Guardians are going to be coming in right now. And fortunately, I think Boxer may have 1 or 2 of those Valkyries left over. Maybe he can send those over there to clean it up. But a lot of these SCVs going to be going down in the meantime. Is Boxer going to actually be able to respond to this in time? And first Ultras are out right now. This this army is going to get cleaned up very easily between these Lurkers and that Ultralist. But at this point, Boxer, he's still just continuing to push. He thinks he can push through his opponent, but with that Science Vessel going down as well and his natural in shambles, what is he going to do? He can't take the 3rd base either. Yellow has that on lockdown. Yellow knows where all the possible places where he could be taking that, and very interesting to go for a racer trick here instead of just irradiating the Guardians themselves. I think that honestly would have been a little bit better. Gosh, medics are so annoying. They take so long to clean up. But it's not particularly that useful. He is eventually going to be able to clean this up with some Wraiths, but at this point, this is not very good. We switched to to the Zerg's point of view, so it looks like we can't actually see anything on the map. We're seeing this entirely from Yellow's point of view. He sees the drop coming in, which is pretty nice. He's going to be able to send some units and deal with that on time. He's trying to split up units. He doesn't want Boxer to just send units back down into the natural and drop. But at this point, he has the game on lockdown. He knows all the possible places that Boxer could actually expand to, and he's got full map control. He's got tons of mining. All he has to do is max out on what he has, which he's at 140 versus 90 supply. He's in absolutely excellent position. All he needs to do is max out and just A-move the turn. Be in great shape versus Boxer. But here comes the big attack, and it's just Marines on this bridge, which is really annoying. But the Ultralists are going to be able to push through and easily clean this out. It's just Marines against Ultralists. You're never going to win that fight. It's never going to be good. And even the Lurkers going down, there's the GG. Boxer falling to his opponent Yellow. This might be the first time that Yellow actually wins and takes the gold in this show match. That was a really good game overall. A very technical opening from Boxer with the bunker rush into vulture drops into just barely catching that timing and getting that that Valkyrie out on time to deal with the Muta follow-up. So very cool play coming out from Boxer, but unfortunately we saw macro has always been Boxer's weakest point, and no surprise, once they got into a macro game, Boxer just floundered around trying to continually do pushes and not being able to break his opponent in sheer numbers. Crimson says John Yellow is the king of special events. Is that so? Does he always win special events matches? Fortunately, those aren't OSLs, so I guess it doesn't count. Stick around. We're gonna go back into. Actually, I guess we're not taking a break quite yet. Outbreaker is apparently the name of this map. Very large main, very interesting shapes, natural, lots of room behind the middle line that you can hide tech in and do all sorts of interesting things with. Third bases to me look like, I don't think there's a ramp leading up to that third base on the ridge, so that's going to be an island map. So either you expand to another corner of the map to another main or natural, or you try to get an early drop and try to expand on the high ground. Interesting to see how both players play that out. It definitely favors Terran in this matchup because Terran can just lift a command center and just push it up there. So.
So far, so good for him. Again, guys, tell your friends to join us. StarCraft Remastered will be available in the next over the next 2 weeks in PC cafes all throughout South Korea. And after that,
right now, Tasteless is saying that that PC bongs in Korea have a special deal where you can just go in and play StarCraft Remastered in any PC bong in Korea, or at least all across Korea, and that's going to be available for 2 weeks as sort of a special event until the actual game comes out. Looks like we're going to go ahead and jump into Game 2. So many people in this audience, it's insane. I can't get over how insane it is. Oh. I guess instead we're gonna look at Tasteless and Wolf and see how they're doing up on the stage. I think they're having a lot of fun as well. Even though this isn't like the highest level caliber play that we've ever seen in the entire world, it's definitely really cool to see these old school casters come back to cast old school games, right? Really cool. I'm sure that Tasteless relates to a lot of this on a very personal level. Remembers back in the day when he watched or even casted some of these sort of builds or some of these games live. So you probably it's a trip down memory lane for all of us. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of a memory of that because I didn't get involved into war until like last year. Honestly, I was involved in StarCraft 2 about the time that it came out, but I've been forced to go back and learn more and more about Brood War. I knew that the Brood War existed. I didn't really know about the pro gaming scene until after 2010. And at that point, I had missed so much that it was impossible to really go back and like experience it to the fullest with so many storylines. But at this point, I'm trying to go back. I'm watching a lot of OSLs. I'm trying to learn a lot, casting a lot as well. And it's been really inspirational. It's been really cool to see how something from absolutely nothing sprang up to become one of the greatest phenomenons in the entire world.
You're so focused, but still everything changes in an instant.
Yeah,
Hey, No Heat K. No Heat K says 2. And I agree, 2.
This is not a drill. We are actually ready for the second game.
All right, looks like we are going to be getting into that second game. Keeping my voice still a little bit low, just because I don't want to upset my roommates. I don't know if somebody just like walked out of the door and like closed it normally. They said they weren't very passive aggressive, so I assumed they would come knock on the door if I was being loud. But let's go ahead and go into game 2, Boxer versus Yellow. It's on Shin Gamma-Gowan, apparently, according to Crimson. So in the top right, in the yellow, Boxer, and in the bottom right, in the purple, the Zerg player, Yellow. He's got a yellow mouse. There we go, yellow mouse. That's what's up. So like I said, this map is a little bit weird. Gigantic mains, lots of dead space behind the natural as well. So there's a lot of smokes and mirrors. Oh my god, there's an inverted ramp. Oh god. God, that's like a nightmare. Seeing that right there is like a nightmare. Like that particular architecture is literally impossible to get your units up and down. Especially as a Protoss player, like getting Dragoons up and down that ramp is literally impossible. It's just, it actually can't be done. It can't be done. It's impossible. So, interesting map. A lot of smoke and mirrors on this map. We're going to see probably another cute build coming out from Boxer. Just to note, I really like these minerals that have been updated as well. They look pretty much the same, but they've got like just enough sheen where they look kind of brand new and look really nice. What do you guys think of the chat? Do you guys think that the graphics are pretty much recognizable? For the most part, to me, everything looks about the same. There's no like adjustment period where I'm like, or I have to be like, oh, that guy's a Marine, that looks weird. The only things that I think really have been noticeable with me is like some units in particular look really beautiful. Like Archons look amazing, but like Hydra Deaths look really stupid. So I think tanks also look a little bit different, which I think my brain would probably filter out given like a couple of viewings. But first viewing, you still kind of go like, that tank does look a little weird. Can't quite put my finger on it, but something's weird about that. But Boxer is going to be going for the in-base barracks and the early gas again, so we are going to be seeing some sort of a tech play. See if he figures out where his opponent is based on where that drone came out. Ooh, that's actually a proxy factory, so... Hey, Peaceseeker, yes, this is the remastered version. This is the GG Together event in Busan. Lots and lots of fantastic legends playing this game against each other, and it's amazing. Really love seeing this, and really like seeing this in the newer version. By the way, shout out to that water. That water looks beautiful. So this is very interesting to go for this proxy when he's been completely scouted. He's taken 2 SCVs off of gas, so to me that that says that he's definitely going to be going for just a little bit of pressure with these vultures. And I think he's actually going to get a machine shop and go for the... no, he's not going to get a machine shop. So just a couple of vultures just to keep his opponent guessing. His opponent doesn't know if it's going to be like another like vulture drop or like 2-port fact or anything like that, or 2-port wraith. But it's just going to be a little bit of harassment, just something to get some map control out on the map. And meanwhile, back at home, he's just going to be building up. This is kind of the Boxer special, is do some harassment, use a couple of units to keep your opponent busy. While at home you build up. He doesn't really like to just go straight for building up. He likes to go for a little bit more finesse, as it were. But continually scouting in here is Yellow. He's gonna know what his opponent's up to. He knows how many units are on gas, and behind this he's actually just gonna go for a 2-base play, which is smart. Instead of going for any sort of crazy play, he's actually just gonna go for 2 hatch straight into the lair play, and we may actually just see fast lurkers instead, since he got this hydrate in so early. This is one of those really annoying things about this map. It actually has 2 ramps that come up here, so you can run some units up here and do a little bit of damage, but you might actually be able to kill off this Hydra. Very nice control there from Boxer, pushing that away for now. He may actually get these up into the main base, but oh, very nice block there with the Hydra. He's going to have a Hydra on the ramp, and that's going to push that away for now. When you think about it, this is actually a very smart opening from Boxer to go for these vultures. Makes it very difficult for his opponent to actually defend, and there's a small area at the top there where you can actually just kill off drones for free. But Yellow doing a very smart play, just making the bare minimum of units and pushing his opponent back. Meanwhile, Boxer is still only on 1 base though, and I don't know if this has actually been scouted. We are going to be seeing a at least a 2 racks pressure coming in with stem. Maybe maybe this will do some serious damage to the economy. There aren't really a lot of Zerg units out right now. There's only a couple of Hydras and a few Lings, and these are stem Marines. They're actually going to do quite a bit of damage. Good micro so far, and the medics coming out from behind as well. There's no seconds. This is going to do a ton of damage. Beautiful play so far. He's actually going to focus down the Overlords right away and make sure that his opponent is supply blocked. So Yellow doesn't have anything. He can't actually make anything. What pops out of these eggs is everything. That's all that Yellow is going to have for the next for the defense on this attack, and I don't think it's going to be enough. He's only got a couple of Lings, and without the perfect surround, these Lings are just going to evaporate. There they go. Not a single Marine lost, and this base is going to go down. It's very unlikely that he can even defend his main either, and I think this is just going to be game.
He said you're so fast.
There's the GG, and looks like Boxer coming back. Like I said, he's not so great at the macro play, so if he just plays to his strengths, goes for the sneaky early plays, very technical openings and things like that, he'll do really well. And that was a very smart opening. He bought a lot of time for himself, just microing those couple vultures around and pushing Yellow around the map. So very nicely done by Boxer. We are going to go 1-1 in that series. Very nice so far that we've just seen even games all day long. I don't want to conspire and say that like they're kind of fixed to look like they're even games, but I'm glad that we're seeing even games for sure. Oh, apparently Boxer's daughter was in the audience. I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know many of these players and their families and things like that, and that might just be because I came into Brew War late, so I don't know all of the like fanfic that goes on behind all these players. You know, like a lot of people, they like the players, but they like the players themselves so much that they know everything about them. I've always been one of those people that have appreciated the play first, and so I don't know much about the players themselves. But it looks like we're going to go to a break, and we'll come back for the next match, which is going to be Reach versus Nada. Stay tuned.
선수 팩토리 두 곳에서 뭔가 계속 개발됩니다.
걸쳐겠죠.
네, 날아가네요. 일단은 드랍십에 벌써 4개를 태웠을 것으로 보이고.
예, 본진과 앞마당 쪽은 너무 나뉘어 있으면 그렇게 좋지 않아요.
네.
예.
자, 드랍십 드랍십 내려서 먼저 드랍십부터 파괴를 하고 퇴로를 차단한 이후에 박정수 선수 드라군 3개 있기 때문에 어느 정도는 잘 막을 것으로 보입니다만 이윤열 보겠습니다.
그나마 옵저버가 추가적으로 나왔기 때문에 그나마 다행이죠. 옵저버도 있고 이거는 아주 큰 피해를 볼 것 같지는 않네요. 예. 그 이윤열 선수는 최대한 여기서 많은 프로그램을 사냥하는 게 그게 제일 좋죠.
네, 자, 마인을 다 청소를 하고 박정수 선수 자, 그동안의 프로그램 피해는 좀 있긴 있었습니다. 자, 마인
이거는 거의
승패에 영향을 줄 수 있는 결정적인 타격이죠.
자, 본진 밖에 자원 채취할 수 있는 곳이 없었는데 불러봐 불러봐 없었거든요.
예, 둘 남았군요. 예.
저 정도면 몇 기 정도가 파괴된 겁니까?
야, 펜스가 이거는 야,
박정서 선수 저 마인 2기에 의해서 지금 암울해진 상황이죠.
예, 이거 이윤열 선수가 정말 뭐랄까요? 계획된 플레이였다면 정말 이윤열 선수가 이제 무서운 선수다라고 이제 이야기를 할 수가 있는 건데 뭐냐면은 마인을 모두 소모한 것처럼 하면서 최후의 한두 개의 마인 정도 남겨놓았다라고 하는 이 측면.
기버가 타든 드래곤이 타든 지금 타격을 줄 수 있는 상황은 아니죠.
네. 자, 리버 하나 드래곤 하나 탔습니다. 리버 하나 드래곤 하나. 자, 리버 여기서 또 몇 번 시간을 겁니까? 시간은 또 왜 이렇게 끕니까?
캐럿마저 속을 썩히는군요.
자, 불발까지 나옵니다. 불발 안쪽으로 킥스오피 예전에 박정석의 리버 엄청나지 않았습니까? 자, 본대 쪽.
가스리나
본격적 신경 안 쓰는 건 나름대로 공격을 의도하고 있었기 때문입니다. 이윤현 선수.
이건 벌써 쳤을 것 같습니다. 지금은 한 번 더 지게 되면은 굉장히 탈락에 가까운 상태가 되기 때문에
지지. 네, 초반 프로브 피해를 극복하지 못합니다. 박정석 선수. 경기 시작됐습니다. 양 선수들 대각선이에요. 먼저 이윤열 선수의 진영은 7시, 이에 맞서는 박정석 선수의 진영은 1시입니다.
후반으로 가다가
이 벌처가 중요하거든요.
그냥 무난하게 패한
세기 나갔고 벌처는 파일럿 사냥해야 됩니다.
이윤열 선수는 이 벌처 기회 놓치면 힘들어질 수 있어요.
두개 남았고 도망가자. 마인. 피해 최소. 네. 11시 그 가장들이 메인 가장들이 뭡니까? 11시 박정석.
빠르네요.
네, 짝이도 2개. 이게 보면 모르죠, 11시.
설마 이 타이밍에 벌써 캐리어를 갈 거라고 생각을 전혀 못하고 있고.
이거
벌써 캐리어 떴어요, 지금.
승부를 보겠다는 건가요, 이윤열
박정석 선수 지상명령 모이기 시작했어요.
네. 자, 골리앗 템플 다 타거든요. 자, 골리앗만 잡으면 박정석 골리앗만 잡아주면 되고 이윤열 여기서 밀리면 안 됩니다. 이윤 선수. 자, 탱크에 발리고 쥐어지는 박정석.
캐리어
잡아야죠. 이윤열 1.4로 캐리어. 하지만 박정석도 지하고 불러서지 않고 캐리어만 집중적으로 1.4 캐리어 둘 남았어요. 근데 더 올라가지 못하고 있는 이윤열 선수.
이거는 이윤열 선수가 진 싸움이죠.
이렇게
갔어요, 사실.
못하고 있는 박정석.
And so the arc of the universe does indeed.
Welcome back to GG Remastered. The GG Together, the StarCraft Remastered launch event. This is being held live at Gwangali Beach in Busan. Side note, there's actually a StarCraft 2 map called Gwangali Beach that was modeled after this. It was actually really cool. It had a lot of custom doodads with like not lawn chairs, but like beach chairs and things like that. Fun stuff. But this is we are slowly approaching more towards the present. Our first match was Grrrrrr versus TheBOy, which was way back before pro gaming was like even a thing. And then we had Boxer versus Yellow, the most famous rivalry of all time, back when the game was first starting to be truly discovered and understood. And now we're going to be reaching into, yes, that's right, pun intended. Now we're going to be reaching into a middle era where the game was starting to develop and people were starting to get good at the game, understand what to do, and how to play the game correctly. And, you know, let's talk about Reach for a second. Like, Reach is actually a very big part of that development. Very important player in terms of macroing really heavily. Very well known for just making a lot of gateway units and just running over his opponent. While he was very good with a lot of the more technical things, what he was well known for was just having a lot of units. And that kind of carried over to players like I Love Uv, players like Nada, who realized that mechanical difficulty was one of the primary things that was holding them back, was mechanical difficulty. And if all they had to do was just play faster and play better, and they could actually just destroy their opponents because they would have more stuff. That was the first time that the idea of macro was really conceived. Like, if I just like play everything perfectly and I can get out like an extra like 4 or 5 Marines for a mid-game attack, that's huge. That's huge. Normally my opponent would be able to hold that with exactly this set of units, but without now I have enough units to where if they don't have like 1 or 2 extra zealots, I kill them. Stuff like that. So it's really cool the way the way the game is developed, and pretty soon we're going to be getting into TBLS, where the game has just expanded to its absolute height. And that's going to be really fun to watch as well. But for now, we're just actually going to hang back. We're going to hang back on nostalgia. More inverted ramps that are pure hell. But an older map, kind of like, reminds me a little bit of like a 4-player Destination with those double ramps going into the natural. Lots of cool stuff coming out. We'll see how Reach versus Nada turns out.
Basically has to go for mech against the Protoss. There are some moments where you can avoid that, but generally no. Generally you have to do...
Just so you guys know, Terran always has to go mech against Protoss, unless it's cheese. Because Tasteless is saying that right now. It's like, just don't ignore that, guys. Ignore it. Oh gosh, but we're gonna be seeing definitely the mech play coming out for sure. If we think about Reach is a very aggressive player who likes to take control of the mid game with a lot of gateway units. So we may definitely see what is known as the man-dog build, which is, I found out it was called the man-dog build, which is a variation of the bulldog build. The bulldog build is where you just load up 4 zealots into a shuttle and you just try to break your opponent early on. You go up to like 6 gateways on 2 bases, like 6 to 8 gateways on 2 bases. You just pump a ton of units out, load up some units into a shuttle and just go for it. Just try to drop on top of the tanks and roll the Terran over in their natural. The only difference is with the man-dog builds, you build manlots instead, and manlots come from the gateway. Only Reach can build them, but they come from the gateway, and they do twice as much damage, and they're 4 times tankier than normal zealots, and they actually just kill everything. So we may see the Mantos build. We may see a bit of a variation on the manlot build, which is where Reach makes a lot of zealots and kills people. Sorry, manlots. Where he just makes a lot of units and kills people. We'll see that. We'll see that for sure. Either way, I don't expect to see a lot of cute micro tricks. Like, we just got off of seeing Boxer do lots of cute little micro tricks and clever builds. We're probably not going to see that from Reach. Nada is a little bit more of a middle-of-the-road Terran. He likes to macro, he likes to open up in more aggressive ways. He's a very flexible and versatile player. So I think we really honestly can see anything coming out from Nada. And against Reach, I expect him to play a little bit more safely. I don't think he's going to try to go for any super crazy pressure plays early on, because Reach is always known to be one of those players who just likes to attack a lot and do sort of crazy stuff, but we will see some timings coming out from Nada where he knows he'll just have just enough units to attack at a certain timing. And if Reach isn't perfectly on top of his game, he's definitely going to have a lot more trouble than he normally would. I think the only scenario where Reach really gets a lot of power is if we go into like a super late game. When we get 4+ spaces, that's when Reach, all he has to do is macro and just send units at each other. Oh, and look, we see Boxer and Yellow talking about their match. Maybe talking about the different ideas that they were doing. And you can see, even though they had this long, intense rivalry, at the end of all of it, they're pretty friendly with each other. I don't know if they're actually friends, but they're friendly with each other, and it's nice to see that, you know, all these years later, you know, you can still look back on a game and say, you know, this is a wonderful experience where I met a bunch of people. I got a good chance to learn from all of them, and you know, it's friends and experiences that you'll share going on to the rest of your life. And oh, look at Reach, already going quite fast, trying to move pretty quickly, get warmed up. So looks like Reach is ready for this game. To be fair, by the way, Reach has been practicing a lot. I haven't watched Nada stream much, but I know that Reach has been playing a ton. And Eon Zerg actually posted a game that he played against Reach in Team Liquid thread from not too long ago, and he was basically saying that Reach has improved dramatically in the past month. That basically Reach has gone from really rusty to almost back to the same level that he was before. So definitely expecting to see a lot of pressure coming out from Reach in this game. Nada has so much legacy behind him that I think this game looks more even than it is. But I'm still looking forward to the series, and I think that Reach definitely has a definite possibility to walk away with a 2-0 in the series, the first 2-0 of the day. We are going to be finally moving into the first game. Check out that stage. Smoke jets, fire, good stuff.
Two gods in Brood War. This is quite a blast from the past. You got any predictions, Wolfie?
I think Nada's going to take it, man. I think probably 2-1. He's been playing for so long since he got out of the military. We're jumping into it. No
Wolf forgot that we only have the best of 2 series.
Let's jump into this one.
Alrighty, let's do it. So we're going into it. In the bottom left, or the bottom right, and the white, our Protoss player, is going to be the Mantos himself, Reach.
This is our bumpiest intro yet, guys. Running it through this. In the bottom right, in the white.
In the top right, in the orange, probably the greatest pro gamer of all time before Flash. It's going to be Nada.
But let's see how this one plays out. Remember, this is kind of
so pretty interesting map. Lots of cool stuff that you can do. The main thing to note, though, the main formation on this map. Sorry, I couldn't find the word there for a second. I was like, the main formation to look at on this map is this double bridge leading into the natural. There's a lot of choke spaces in there that makes actually attacking into there very difficult, and units just naturally clumping there. So attacks onto the natural are going to be really difficult early on. Especially when you're trying to push into tanks. And the converse is true as well. If Nada can actually get onto an area where he can contain Reach within his base and force him to walk across those bridges, he's going to get completely decimated by tank shots. So that's a pretty important feature that could play a very important role in this game. We'll have to see if that's the case or if both players just play a lot safer. But we may not actually get to that point. We'll have to see. Barracks coming down. We see no gas coming down so far from Nada, so it doesn't look like he'll actually be going for that type of style. Actually, I take it back. Never mind, there is a gas going down. It was just outside of our vision there. Okay, he just put it down. So we are going to be seeing a very standard fact expand. He's going to be going into a couple of Marines, usually about 3, into a tank, and then he'll be able to push down into his natural and push out and take that natural expansion. The real question is if he's going to go for... There is a possibility he can still go for some sort of a tech play, but with the ability to just walk up the ramp and scout on this map, it's not big enough to prevent your opponent from scouting, and there's no way that you can really wall off that ramp this early in the game. So it'd be surprising to actually see a cheeky build, something like Vulture drops or something like that. But at the same time, it is a 2-fact going down, I believe, unless that is a supply depot over in the corner. I guess that is a supply depot. I take it back. It's just going to be 1 fact. Ignore me. My analysis is sometimes wrong. Meanwhile, we're going to have 1 gate Dragoon with Dragoon range coming out from Reach. That's just to put pressure on his opponent and force him. It prevents the Terran from taking a very easy 1 gate or 1 Rex fast expand, and it allows him to get enough Dragoons out on the map to deal with any sort of follow-up Marine tank pushes that might come at him. Unfortunately for Nada, he's going to be able to scout his opponent last, and by that time there is going to be a Dragoon out. He's going to push this SCV away, so he may not get full information. He's probably going to try to suicide the SCV in and see if there's at least a natural expansion going down, or if Reach is going to go for something a little bit more aggressive. I'm not sure that we know what exactly is going to be going on. Very smart play from Reach, intercepting this SCV, but he's not going to be able to kill it before it sees this natural, I don't think. Second Dragoon is going to join that. It's just going to hold position on the ramp. And so we know there's no Nexus, but at this point in time, that's not a huge indicator of what's going down. Reach could definitely still be going for a Nexus as soon as he clears off the SCV, but it looks like instead he's going to be going for the tech play. There's a zoom in to see the Dragoon a little bit closer. Meanwhile, did you guys know that the Dragoon is underwater, like the Dragoon portrait? I didn't. It's the first time I've ever noticed, but the Dragoon portrait, like he's like in water, and like when he like leans forward, like the water like comes out when it comes back up. Didn't realize that. I thought it was just like a blue-ish. I thought it was like a blue light on the Zealot that was inside of it. We are going to be seeing the expansion coming out for Reach. He is going to be going for that standard play with the Roa behind it. Very super standard. A little bit surprised that Nada is playing so super safe. He really doesn't want to get in a situation where he gets in a lot of trouble, but really good kiting so far from Reach. So he did a lot of damage to those Marines, and with the second tank coming out, he should be able to push this out. He just needs to worry about getting one of those tanks potentially sniped, but as long as you have the Marines out there to buffer for the tank, it's usually pretty okay.
He's going to be mindful that around the same time that the Nexus is going to finish here for the Protoss. Now,
oh, Crimson says that's the blue goo when they die. That makes a lot of sense. I just thought that was like their blood. This is one of those things, every time you grow up, like, you find things that you didn't know before, but this probe is actually going to sneak in. Wow. It is going to go down before it sees anything significant. But the scanner's made, and the barracks is floating out. This is one of those things where it's really difficult to kite back with those Dragoons on the ramp. Once again, that's another important feature of this map. It makes it difficult to actually get stuff done. And we're actually going to be going up to 3 factories, very heavy into the mid-game army for Nada. He's mostly just going to be focusing on getting a lot of tanks out so he can establish a third. He could even actually go for a good timing attack with +1 if he builds his armory pretty soon. I agree. I think Protoss looks really nice in this version. All of the units and the buildings are super shiny and Protoss-like. It goes against the Zerg a little bit because when their stuff is shiny, it doesn't look as good, but it's really nice on the Protoss. Or on Terran, it looks kind of nice, but like you kind of expect Terran to look a little grungy. And when the factories are this shiny and nice and new, like you expect them to like, you know, wear and tear over time, right? Like, that's what's supposed to happen. But first couple of Vultures going to be moving out right now and just checking to see if there's a third. He's going to try to snipe this probe over here. and just prevent this from actually going down. So that's really nice. That buys him a little bit of time before that Protoss third base goes up. Meanwhile, behind that, we're probably going up to 4 factories. So this is definitely a timing attack coming up from Nada. It's a 2-base timing attack that is going to have a lot of tanks in it, and maybe even quite a few vultures as well. Depends on what time he decides to actually push out. And just continue to actually just pump tanks off of only 1 factory. He's not going to go for all of them. That's really annoying to lose the factory off early on, but he's not going to get it. That's a little unfortunate to lose that barracks early on, but it's not a huge deal, all things considered. It does prevent him from throwing down a 4th CC if he wants, a 3rd CC if he wants, but at this point I think he's actually just going for an all-in timing attack, so he doesn't mind too much. I wonder if he'll even pull a couple SCVs to build missile turrets as well. We'll see how that comes along. Meanwhile, Reach is just trying to clear as many mines as possible. And here comes the first push across the map. Again, this double ramp causing a lot of problems, but even a couple of vultures coming from behind. Can't plant any mines though, so nothing that's really going to happen there. And at this point, Nada can't really push any further until he has more vultures. You really need the vultures to buffer for the tanks, otherwise you end up just losing the tanks automatically. Is that a shuttle with zealots in it? Or is it one with a Reaver in it? I don't think that Reach went into Reaver tech. I think that's just a sort of man-dog build. 34 years old, employing 370 APM. Yeah, Nada is a god. It's actually pretty amazing. Pretty astounding that he's managed, that he can still go that fast. Even this late in his life, like, it's just insane. The shuttle is there, and at this point it looks like Nada might actually just be setting up a contain. He's got the he's got a line of tanks plus some spider mines, and the idea of this is just to prevent his opponent from actually ever moving across the map. He's going to start setting up missile turrets as well, and this basically just splits the map perfectly in half. It allows Nada to actually take all the expansions on his side of the map, and he's going to be going into full turtle mode coming up pretty soon. Like I said at the beginning of the game, I think this is a little bit questionable, because if you try to split the map like this versus Reach is totally comfortable with that. Reach just wants to macro, that's all he wants to do. So if you allow him to sit back and just macro and make tons of units, going up to 3, going to 3, maybe even 4 bases, that's really nice for him. We can see the Templar Archives and Stargate coming up pretty soon. We'll see if he goes straight into that Arbiter tech, or if he's going to actually go for a couple of Templars as well. But oh, this is not a very good drop so far, and that one supply depot is causing a lot of problems. It's going to be really hard to actually break this coming in, but another flank of Zealots coming in from the other side. Are they going to be held back? They are, so very nice positioning with that supply depot. Nada being very, very smart with his building positioning and the way that he defends in that choke. Really cool play, but he's actually going to immediately just unsiege and push out. I said that this was going to be blockade, he's going to play defensively, but he killed off a lot of units, and there's not really a lot for Reach to defend. He's going to be able to push on top of this double ramp, and once he gets on top of this double ramp, it's going to be way harder for Reach to actually defend, because he's just going to get decimated by tanks trying to move across it. And here is the contain. So at this point, it's almost impossible to actually get out of here, and he can even send a couple of tanks over here to siege down to this third base, and wow, that zoom is so weird. This is looking pretty brutal. Even trapped up here on the high ground as well, and I'm not sure that Reach can actually come back in this game. Nada just noticing when his opponent made a mistake, made one tiny error, and just punishing it super, super hard. And this is what happens when you are one of the best pro gamers of all time. You know how to exploit your opponent at every single turn. He's going to try to break it from the double ramps because a lot of units were out of position. So Reach may be able to break this for right now, but there's still a couple tanks up, and it's going to be pushed back. a 40 supply difference with Nada in the lead. This is looking pretty brutal right now. He's trying to get some Arbiters out to maybe push this back, but the Arbiters are going to be too late. Reach just overextending at the wrong time, attacking into a bad choke, and he's gonna pay for it. There's the GG. Reach just not being able to actually come back after that fatal mistake. So smart from Nada. Very well played, and you can see he's relieved. He's looking great. I'm amazed, guys. Nada's actually really good still. That was... Nada's pretty good at this game, guys. Oh my gosh.
And unfortunately, we don't get to see any Arbiters. We don't get to see that late game I was looking forward to.
We might have it here in game number 2, but the problem...
That was super ghosty, guys.
I feel for the guy.
Holy crap.
Once you see on that map specifically, the Terran gets set up in that spot.
That's so obnoxious to deal with, though. Just in that particular... Yeah, like Aztecs is saying that particular map. I haven't seen that map before, but you can tell it's obviously really obnoxious to deal with as a Protoss player, because once the Terran gets that mid-map control, it's so hard to actually stop it. But I think as long as you have the Dragoon count and you contest going over that double bridge for long enough, you can have pretty good results, but just Reach gave up that middle map control way too easily, and then when he tried to take it back, it was just a really bad engagement. I really wish we could have seen something a little bit better out of him. Hopefully in the next game he'll play a little bit smarter. Maybe we'll have a more standard map that isn't as Terran favored. It's one of those things where you have to play perfectly as a Protoss, or else the Terran just walk all over you just because of the map architecture.
Still not going to be very easy to do. If he waits longer to get them, then Nada has a better position anyways, has more spider mines set up, and still desperate situation there for Reach. He tried to make it happen.
It looks like we'll be going into the second game pretty soon. See if Nada can continue his streak of being super mega ultra Gosu, or if he's gonna suffer. Go ahead and jumping straight into the second set. Sick. Alright, so we're going to be on Neo Requiem. In the center left, in the teal, that is going to be our Protoss player, Reach. For whatever reason, I always think of teal whenever I think of Reach. I'm not sure why. It just, that particular color resonates with me. And on the right side in the 3 o'clock position, the purple Terran, the super mega ultra god Gosu player. It is going to be Nada. Sporting that 500 APM to start. Pretty sick. Crimson says, Reach, hardcore 2-gate, go, go, go. I don't think we're going to see that, but who knows. Another inverted ramp. Fun stuff. Guys, what is up with like old maps and inverted ramps? Like, didn't we evolve from that era, like, at some point? Like, how many games had these horrible, like, wraparound ramps where it was impossible to get your units out of your base? And we're actually going to see a wall-off coming from Nada in his main, so definitely some room for some tricky play coming out. This is going to be really cool. He's going to put the supply depot right there, and then you can put the barracks underneath that for a perfectly full wall-off, I believe. So very difficult to actually deal with that. Meanwhile, Reach going for a pretty standard build to follow up. He's not going to go for that crazy 2-gate crazy stuff. And I expect to see an early gas coming out from Nada. Be very surprised to see him go for some sort of gasless. And there's the gas going down right now. And that is an 11-11 actually. So we're definitely going to see some early pressure coming out from Nada. I think this is the double fake where you go up to about 6 to 7 Marines. You bring out 3 tanks and a Vulture to follow up. It's a very technical push, but if the Protoss doesn't play it perfectly, it's just an outright win a lot of times. So we'll have to see if Reach can actually scout out what his opponent's doing, sniff out any sort of cheese coming his way, and if he'll have enough units and enough good enough Dragoon control to actually stop this. Once it gets on an open field, it's going to be much more difficult for Nada to actually push out. first scout is coming out from Nada right now. Reach is going to tag the SAV as it comes out here right now. And first factory coming down, even before a Marine, so pretty cool stuff. And there's that annoying wall off. It's going to prevent the probe from actually getting into the base. He's just going to be really annoying and attack this until the first Marine comes out. Even in sending a Zealot across the map, but that Zealot's not really going to do anything. It really just, all it does is just follow up on what the probe is doing and just kind of being annoying. Once the, oh, wow, he actually lifted the, he actually had to lift the barracks and let the probe in, so that's a little bit unfortunate. This is one of the annoying things about, even though he has this wall off, he actually can't bring his Marine behind the wall unless he lifts off the barracks. Wait, no, it did work that time. Why did he lift off his... Why did he lift off his Rex the first time? That was unusual. So, all things said and done, this harassment has actually paid off. Normally, you would just have 2 Marines behind the wall off, and then all of that gets taken care of. I think maybe he just misplaced the barracks initially, so that was just a mistake. But honestly, if you just have this wall off perfectly, you get 3 Marines out, and they just sit there, and Protoss doesn't get any scouting information, and you defend this as well, and it's just like easy. A little bit unfortunate. Unfortunately, now we're getting to the point where it's really annoying to wall off on a low ground main, because it means the Dragoon can actually fire from the top of the ramp and kill things off. But he's going to be able to kill off at least one of those Marines and a couple more SCVs. He can't let this wall go down before he gets the tank out. But even once the tank is out, they can't even actually do anything against this, because the Dragoons can just sit on the high ground. And there's not a lot that the tank can actually do about that. And Siege Mode's slowly coming out. And oh, getting some damage on that tank, that's a pretty big deal. It's going to make it much harder to push out in the future. 3 Marines all go down. Siege tank finally finishing Siege Mode. And is that a hidden base from Reach? Very interesting to see him go for that hidden base instead of the natural that you would normally expect. And that's just going to allow him... That's definitely going to be a freak out moment for Nada when he tries to go for a drop and realizes there's no natural. But at the same time, it's also really bad for Reach, because he's in a situation where he's got 2 bases that are split up really far apart and not really a lot to deal with this drop play. So it's going to be a little bit annoying. He's going to have to get some early cannons up there, or maybe even what? What? Okay, Nada's just doing weird things this game, guys. I don't know what's going on. Why did he lift off his Starport? Oh gosh. I'm expecting to see a Forge coming out pretty soon for Reach so that he can defend the space over here. It'd be really foolhardy to not get an early Forge to deal with any potential drops, especially when you know your opponent's on only 2 bases. But this is going to be a tank drop. This is going to be really interesting. Now, tank drops more or less died out when people realized that Vultures were just way better at harassing. But there are a couple of abusable ledges here that you can do. Especially, I think, if I'm seeing correctly, yeah, you can siege the back of the mineral line at the natural, but he's going to be really surprised to see that there is no natural. So this tank drop is going to do pretty much nothing. It can still potentially do a little bit of damage if units are out of position, but it doesn't even matter. Like, it's not going to do anything over here. Faceless and Wolf are only just now realizing that this is happening. He's going to try to Vulture drop in the main and be like, oh, ha. Oh, wait. There's no base there. What's going on? So I think Reach just mindfucked the hell out of Nada. Sorry, PG-13. Sorry, PG-13 filter back on. Oh, God. He doesn't know. Nada's probably so confused right now. He probably has no idea what's going on. Like, what is my opponent doing? Like, why doesn't he have a natural? And he still hasn't even, well, he is building that second command center, but you can see he's definitely turtling up way harder. He even built a turret in a natural mineral line. And now he's going to pick up the tanks when the natural does finally go down. Oh my god. Reach is just like completely screwing with his brain. It's so brutal.
He knows that the Protoss isn't just on one base for this long. Now, Terran, on the other hand,
so we are going to be seeing that shuttle come out right now. I wonder if there's going to be some Dragoons in the back of the mineral line harassment. Basically where those tanks were. Now Reach will go to his opponent and put a couple of Dragoons behind the mineral line. But actually it looks like it's going to be dropped towards the main. Unfortunately, it's going to randomly get scouted by this dropship. Oh, maybe he was actually trying to chase it down. I don't think he was trying to chase it down. Maybe he was. Either way, Reach is going to be able to scout everything that's going on. He's going to know when future drops come his way. And this is a bizarre game, honestly. It's part of the effect of just having an older map with a low ground main with a reverse ramp. But it's also just the time period. These players playing just all kinds of mind games with each other. Wait, there's a little man inside the turret? I think somebody said that. There's like an actual little guy inside the missile turret. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know why there would be a dude inside the missile turret. I feel like that's like a waste of Terran ingenuity. Like we've reached a point where technology is like really strong. Why do we need a dude that's firing targeted missiles?
He's gonna have some sort of special headset on or something to knock.
Like we already had like ground to air missiles that were automatic. We didn't need someone targeting them like in '97. So I don't. It's just weird to me. That's all. It's weird. All right. Anyhow. Lots of gateways up for Reach at this point in time. He's up to 7 gateways. He's going to be able to pump out a ton of gateway units coming up. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to break his opponent at any point, but he's definitely going to be able to take center map control coming up pretty soon. Very unusual positioning for all of these units, but I guess it's just the fear that there might be drop play coming in. Normally you would kind of use observers to see what your opponent is doing and spread out your Dragoons. Sort of in the middle of the map, just patrolling back and forth, but he looks like Reach is putting a couple Dragoons at every base, just trying to make sure that he doesn't take any damage from drops coming out. We're still zoomed out pretty far, so this is a little bit weird. Okay, I think we're back to normal. And more and more bases going down. Reach looks like he's going to be taking that top left position as well. And that's going to be really nice for him, basically making him impervious to damage later on. If he can get that insane eco up, that's going to be way harder to actually push down with just Siege Tank Vulture. You're going to have to go into dropships to really push that down effectively. There is going to be a drop that's going to come back here. I don't know if there's the Dragoon is going to slightly miss this. I don't know if he saw that on his minimap or not. But I think a couple of cannons are in that top left already anyway. And very nice Zealot drop is going to come in here and be able to stop these 2 bases from going down. There's not really a lot that Nada can do about this right now. He can't really send units over there because that's an island area. And he's actually just going to have to cancel the CC, and that's the worst feeling in the world when you know you're already behind and now you have to cancel. A little bit of lag there, that was interesting. And finally finding a new way to make this tank drop work out. 4 of those, oh 8, wow, 8? That was 8 probes? Holy crap, that's actually insane. That's so many probes that just went down there. And just putting on a lot of pressure until Reach can actually get his own drops over here to deal with this. If not as fast enough, he can actually pick this up before these go down, but he's not really being fast enough, and one of these tanks is definitely going to go down. I don't know if it was a smart idea to drop 2 Dragoons, but he is actually finally going to clean that up, so maybe it's not that bad. A couple of Vultures in the front. Probes getting safe. Okay, good. Nice to see the probes being safe. And we should be heading into Arbiter Tech pretty soon. I'd be really surprised. Okay, good. There's the Arbiter Tech. So we are going to be going to those Arbiters, and Recall is going to be a big game changer coming up pretty soon. Reach has done such a great job of controlling these backdoor 3rd and 4th bases, and Nada's playing ultra defensively. He's got a ton of factories going up right now, but he's had so much trouble just moving out of his base, and he's continuing to just play super defensively. I don't know if he's actually going to push out of his base any time. Reach has an insane lead on his opponent right now at 172 to 125. That numbers advantage alone is enough to basically just run over his opponent. And the moment Nada actually pokes out of his expansion any bit, Reach is just going to be able to run over him. There's no way for Nada to expand right now. And all Reach has to do is max out, get his first Arbiter, and then he can just run over his opponent. But here comes the big push out, finally pulling through that choke. And Reach knows this is coming. Does he pull all of his units and try to just break this? Or does he allow his opponent to really take the center map control? We'll have to see. Tons of units down in the 6 o'clock base, even some over by his natural and some in the middle of the map. So definitely building together a huge concave if he manages to get this totally correctly. There is this cross in the middle of the map that is going to cause a lot of pathing problems as the turn player pushes out. But if Reach can get on top of this really nicely, he can definitely just completely crush it. He's waiting for his first Arbiter to get there. Arbiters unfortunately take years to build, but with the first Arbiter, he can definitely walk through this. Won't have a stasis or a recall, but it honestly doesn't matter because you get so much value out of just forcing the turn to scan constantly. And big attack coming in right now. He's combined his entire army, and he's trying to look for the good angle here, but these units might be a little bit too clumped up. There's no missile turrets up in the front quite yet, but the Zealot's getting straight onto the tanks, and he finds a situation where Nada's a little bit unsieged. The first couple storms come out. Big storm on a lot of those tanks going down. He's going to be able to shave off a lot of tanks, but I think at this point you just back off. You've lost all of your Zealots, so no reason to go super hard. This is still really good for Reach. He's on those 4 bases. He can just constantly pump units, and as long as he can continue whittling away the tank count, he's going to slowly pull ahead. He's got the doubled Arbiters coming out on the way. Once he has enough energy for stasis or recall, I don't know which one he went first. Usually in this case you want to go for that recall a little bit earlier, but as soon as he gets the energy up for that, it's going to be much easier to break these tank lines. Meanwhile, Nada taking that expansion up at the top right-hand corner. He's just trying to take this very slow and steady, build up the tank count, build up a lot of turrets moving across the map. But here comes the stasis. Stasis is coming out right now. No, he's not going to recall on top of the units. Don't be ridiculous, guys. Not the greatest stasis, but it's definitely going to be very difficult to deal with. Very nice storm on top of all those tanks. That's going to weaken them up quite a bit. And not a lot of tanks really in range. And a couple of these Zealots just stealing the tank fire over to the other side as well. So that is going to be able to push through for right now. He's going to be able to kill off the front tanks and get into this backline with a bunch of Zealots. And but unfortunately, he did lose a ton of those Dragoons in the process. He is going to be able to finally push this back. Where's the reinforcements for Nada? There's nothing. He doesn't have anything at all right now. And it's just a couple of tanks out here in the map just trying to hold center map control. And one more macro cycle from Reach is probably just going to be able to completely wreck this. But somehow for right now, Nada has been able to reinforce well enough. But with the next wave of Zealots, this is going to be all over. Even with tons of really good mines, I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for this for a little bit longer. Nada's really just trying to hold up to long enough for that 3rd base to really start paying for itself and maybe even get a 4th base up. But there's so much economy for Reach, and he's even getting ready to take another base up in the 12 o'clock position. Gets stopped for right now, but as long as Reach continues to expand and continues to throw units at his opponent and trade, he's going to be in a really good shape. He's going to go all the way up here. I wonder if he's just going to go straight into the base or if he's going to try to break the tank line from the top, or both. Looks like he might just send a couple of Zealots up there to do some economic damage, while he just pulls the rest of his units down here to stop any sort of counter pressure that would be coming his way. He needs to split his units very nicely. He needs to not make sure he runs into those into all of those tanks, but very nicely done so far. Not a try to push out. This is kind of a Hail Mary move after losing the CC up here, but this is getting really, really rough, and I think a recall is about to come into the main base. This recall could be Doom. He's going to move a little bit to the side, trying to avoid any sort of missile turrets that might be there. Maybe just waiting for the perfect opportunity to go in, but here's the recall. He's going to be going straight in, right on top of the production. Sick stuff. So now there's a whole bunch of units on top of the production. Nada can't actually reinforce that. There's the GG. Reach taking game 2, coming back and taking the series 1-1. Very nicely played overall. Nada just completely wrecked by that weird natural decision by Reach to go for that hidden base. Without, like, if that base had just been in the normal position, Nada would have pulled so far ahead with that tank drop, but because it was in that weird, like, position just on the other side of the map, like, it was so weird, and Nada didn't know how to respond to it. So Reach just outthinking his opponent and playing a very intelligent game. Yeah, it is 1-1 everywhere. I'm hoping we get at least like a 2-0 at some point in the day, but I mean, at this point we only really have one series left, and it's just going to be the TLS matchup. It's just going to be Jaedong, Flash, and Bisu, and I bet you it's going to be a 1-1-1 circle.
Now with the resurgence of Brewler, by the way, before Remastered, the already resurgence of Brewler is really rising up before this even happens tonight. They're coming back into full form. Flash looks as good as ever. This is going to be great.
Oh gosh, you guys, I'm getting so tired. I'm not going to lie. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We are going to go for a quick break. I'm going to just try to relax a little bit, and then I will see you guys when we come back. See you guys after we get back from the break.
이재동이 만났습니다. 진짜 별과 별들의 만남인데요. 자, 김태경 선수의 모습이 보입니다. 이 맵에서 12승 2패. 현재 다승 순위로도 1위 김태경. 자, 그리고 앞서 정명훈이라는 산을 넘어내면서 팀이 올킬 당하는 것을 저지했던 이재동 선수입니다.
자, 시작에 있어서는 어쨌든 이재동 선수가 9오버풀을 갔는데 아무래도 러시 거리가 있다 보니까 김태경 선수 바로 이제 넥서스 먼저 가져갔죠.
네. 자,
이런 대결에서는 김태경의 힘을 빼는 건 바로 거절을 줄여주는 거예요.
짝짝짝짝.
자, 근데 아래쪽에서 스콜지가 또 대기하고 있고요.
둘 다 잡을 수 있어요. 하나는 김태경 커세어는
아니 이게 말입니까? 아니 이걸 그 사이로 살려냈어요.
라인이 S 라인이에요. 지금 김태경 선수가 그 일단 대비가 돼 있을까요?
왜냐면
안 되어 있을 것 같은데요.
지금 정도의 러커 타이밍이 어쨌든 옵저버 로보티스 올려야 되고.
네.
이거 추가 멀티는
그냥 자 일단 질럿만 제거하고
캐논이 하나밖에 없어요 지금.
자 캐논 깨졌어. 질럿을 그냥 잡아볼 수 있어요.
혼을 찌르는 김태경 선수의 정찰의 그 빈틈 커세어가 김태경이 이재동이 이거 경기 잡는 겁니다. 완벽하게 잡았어요 이재동 선수.
김태경 지난 하이트전 KT전 내내 그냥 물러났는데
이거는 자신의 상직을 보여주고 사실 저그전에 이렇게 무기력하게 무너지는 모습이 없었거든요.
자 커세어 떨어져요. 떨어집니다.
할 수 있는 것이 없어요.
우리 가야 돼 키드라들이 지금 되게
짧지만 굉장히 놀라운 겁니다. 왜? 김태경이 가장 자신 있어 하는 벤제는
경기 만나보겠습니다. 스마트 세트에서 맞붙겠습니다. 이게 지금 9시입니다.
최단 커플도 공일업 됐고 공일업을 하면서 지금 이제 발업 질럿이 일단 발업 공일업이 됐고요. 이러면 이제 저글링의 힘을 발휘할 수 없습니다.
네. 뮤탈.
그렇죠.
약간 느린 이유가 있었네요.
네, 힘이 보이거든요. 이거 좋은데요? 잡고 빠지고 그런 식으로 운영 좀 해줘야죠. 그렇죠. 여기 굉장히 신경 쓰게 만들게 되면은 이재동도 이쪽 부산도 컨트롤 집중할 수 없어요.
그리고 스콜지.
큰일 났습니다.
이거는 굉장히 많이 없는데요.
야, 저 다크가 드론은 많이 잡아주지 못했지만 커세어가 스콜지를 잡아주는데 핵심 역할을 했어요. 그렇죠. 뮤탈리스크는 도망갈 수밖에 없고요. 이 타이밍에 한번 잡히게 되면 큰일 나는 겁니다.
그냥 가는데요.
스콜지 뒤에서 오겠죠? 스콜지가 뒤에서 와야 됩니다.
빨리 와야 된다. 아직 스콜지 뒤에 안 보인다. 그때는 12시 문제가 생겨요.
여러 가지 스콜지 한 방 때문에 이거 지금 큰일 났습니다. 자, 지상구 이재동 드론 피해 좀 많이 받겠는데요.
덩클도 못 지켜요. 일단은 덩클을 먼저 파괴하는데 두려워 나오는 김태경.
와, 김태경. 저 뮤탈리스크가 커세어를 상대를 하고 있다 보니까 질럿에게 무방비였어요.
그리고 질럿이 또 나갑니다. 이제 뮤탈 중앙대 위치에 봤는데 아크 하나인데도 못 붙어요.
계속 시간을 끌어주는 것이죠. 선수는 이게 일단 근데 여기서 일단은 그냥 덮주는 정도에서 붙이는 게 좋을 것 같습니다.
드랍 있었네요. 김태경.
저게 대박인데요, 진짜.
12시. 그래도 여기에 드론이 나왔던 12시.
커세어도 악한 뒤에 숨어서 싸우게 되면 글쎄요, 이거를 도대체 악한 한계인데 이 악한 한계 위험이 장난이 아닙니다.
이거 방어되나요?
와, 피해 다니는
이거 이렇게 피하나요?
11시 멀티 어떻게 해야 되는 거예요?
그런데 일단 중간중에 나오는 병력과 일단 교전이 있었습니다. 옵저버는 많이 보이진 않습니다. 하나 보이고 있고요.
하이패슬로까지 합류했어요. 이거는 그냥 뒤로 빼죠. 양쪽으로나 질적으로나 김태경의 압승입니다.
스톱나면 안 되죠. 뭉쳐있으면 안 되죠. 여기 사이언스. 김태경 기다리고 있었죠.
벤차에서 힘싸움은 어림도 없습니다, 지금.
그냥 놓거든요. 이재동의 명령. 사이언스.
이재동도 어쩔 수 없는 센터 쪽.
굉장히 여기 팔을 풀어나갑니다. 병력 찍고 위로 보내지만 김태경. 핵을 안 할 수가 없어요.
핵을 빼는 건
All right, we are back, and guess who's tired? This guy. But you know what? I am perfectly fine for casting for 3.5, 4 hours straight on a Sunday morning. Totally normal for me. It is a Sunday, right? Okay. Sunday. So my plans for today are eat, sleep, go to grocery store. Maybe in that order, I'm not sure. Not entirely sure, but looks like we're actually going to have some sort of ceremony first. We're not going to have the take the song matches quite yet.
I feel like when that countdown finishes, a bunch of nerds are going to jump out of their seats and run for the nearest PC box.
I bet. But also, guys, definitely don't miss out on the next 3 matches we have. This is where you're going to see premium.
I don't know what they're doing up on that stage.
If you want to learn, maybe you're new
I have no idea.
and you want to start,
I assume they're doing something cool.
Watch these guys. They're going to show you exactly what you want to do to be the best that you can be.
Oh, apparently it's some sort of like buzz-in thing.
We're going to hit the button. And guys, when they hit the button, it's going to be unleashed.
That's right. Watch
the
it.
internet's going to change forever. There's going to be an earthquake on the internet when they hit that button.
Don't joke about earthquakes in Korea, man. That's a real thing. Don't joke about earthquakes, man. It can definitely happen.
4, 3, wait, not yet.
Oh my god, tasteless. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! StarCraft Remastered officially released.
Undo what we have done.
How you guys doing?
StarCraft Remastered is unleashed to the public.
So cool, dude.
March 31st, 1998. That's right.
It feels like this was like the closing ceremony and they didn't expect the games to last this long. I'm not sure. But really super excited. That means StarCraft Remastered is officially out. So on the PC bongs, it will be available now. Anyone can play it, and in 2 weeks, anyone can get their copies and play it as well. Did everyone order it? You can order the pre-release and get it the day that it comes out. It's only $15, so it's really cheap. Unfortunately, as far as I know, in the West, you cannot get a box. Only in Korea can you get a box set. So everyone just has to deal with digital copies. I'm expecting the box set to eventually come to Western audiences, but it's one of those things where I think they weren't sure how much interest they get, so they just did it in South Korea first. They didn't go to the Western audiences quite yet. But it looks like we're going to go to another break yet again while Jaedong and Bisu get set up, and I believe that is going to be the next match. In the meantime, I'm going to fix my ponytail because my hair is slowly kind of gone a little bit crazy, but you know, I'm getting there. It's been a long morning for me, but there's still a lot more action to happen. We're still going to have the Take These Song show matches. That's going to be really, really good. We're going to see Flash, the greatest programmer of all time. Jaedong, the super amazing tyrant, Grrrrrr Zerg, as he's known. And Beastie, the revolutionist. Can you guys tell that I'm getting a little bit tired? I wasn't anticipating that I'd be casting for 3.5+ hours, so I keep like nudging my desk, and I think it's like me moving the camera, and I'm like, oh gosh, I need to stop, and then I realize it's just because they're on the beach and like the wind is blowing the camera. So, oh gosh, but these are the best matches coming out. I think at this point, like I should just start like an IRL stream. You guys can just like watch me sleep for the next 30 minutes, and then I'll wake up and cast another couple games. I'll pull Larva.
You can't do what these guys do. The fact that they're so fast, able to macro and micro at such an incredible pace, while still able to outthink each other and outmaneuver each other, is really a beautiful thing.
And I think that a lot of people watching this, especially people watching Brood War for the first time here with the remaster coming out.
Let's go ahead and read the live report thread.
Well, this looks really cool. I wonder how hard it actually is to do this. So when I definitely do recommend when you have the ability to either, if you're in Korea, go to a PC bong.
The bad bitrate, low quality, old highlights look so ugly now. Indeed, it's such a weird transition to be going from like this, and then in between games they'll show like the really old ones, the really old games, and it's like, you know, part of you is like nostalgia, like, oh my gosh, I remember that moment, but also like the other part is like, I can't see the units. What is that, like a reaver? It's difficult.
It's just one of the most rewarding things you can experience in gaming.
I hope all of these matches are best of one. If all of these are best of two, I may hang it up and cast from replay, or rather cast from the VOD, because it's just like I'm getting so tired right now, and this is a lot to do all in one day. I mean, these guys are doing it. They're awesome. That's because they're professional casters. I've only been doing this for like 2 months. This is the longest cast I've done by far. Like 3.5 hours is really long. Also, I'm a little bit nervous about my my hard drive because I've had trouble recently with my hard drive filling up with videos doing all this casting. So going for like another 2 hours is like another like gig on my computer. I'm like I can't spare it at this moment. I don't know. We'll see.
We're still waiting on our 2 players to get ready, but when they are ready, we are going to jump right into this match.
I actually think that might be a good idea, just so I don't ruin my voice. I've been really tired over the last couple days moving into my new place and everything, so you know what, I actually am going to call it a night. Thanks everyone for watching. I apologize for ducking out early. You guys can always follow the English stream on twitch.tv/starcraft, but I'm exhausted, I'm wiped out, and for my own personal physical and mental health, I need to just call it a night. I want to come back and revisit these matches if they're any good and cast them, but you guys are definitely in for a treat for these last 3 matches. There's going to be a lot of good stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.